And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yeah, we are officially back. It's episode 50, guys.
Yes, it is!
So welcome back to Dicecream Sandwich. We're officially old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in like
Sorry, still.
episode years.
We can kick.
We're
We
young.
can combat. We're 50.
We're 50.
But yeah, we officially are 50. Like, it's kind of crazy to really realize, like, we've done 50 sessions. Like, in 2 sessions, it'll have been 52 sessions, and that's an entire year, but...
It's been over a year, though.
It's been over a year.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, is not much over a year.
No.
Like, really, we
November.
what, 4 months in?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, 3 months extra to do almost an entire year's
That
worth of
actually
sessions.
speaks a lot to how frequently we have been meeting and
Yeah.
not having the trope of, like, oops.
It
Yeah.
all just fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all of us.
It's gonna
for
happen.
We're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
responsible.
Happen.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Spoken into the universe.
And to celebrate our 50 episodes, we have a giveaway.
We
Yeah.
do! We have a giveaway.
Thanks to our amazing pals at
Adventure Dice.
And Kaylee, take it away.
You can be our Sam Riegel. And just,
Yeah.
oh, whoa.
Oh my god.
That was unbridled happiness that I just mentioned that name.
So much joy and unexpected.
Help. I don't have a bit prepared.
You just start preparing them.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I do.
When we start
I'm
getting our
gonna start
sponsors
calling
lined
on
up.
people for different sponsors and stuff.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I can make
Go for
this
it.
happen. I
Give a shit
just
all
need a
day.
little
Yeah.
bit of...
But
Thanks
we
to
do
our
have some...
friends at Adventure Dice.
Yeah, thanks to our friends at Adventure Dice, and we've got a giveaway going on our
We do.
Instagram.
So everyone who entered our giveaway, thank you very much. That's super awesome of you. So just a reminder of the contest rules. You had to tag 3 friends.
Yeah.
3 friends on our...
Oh, no, it's just, I think, it was 3 friends.
Yeah, 3
or-
friends.
Yeah,
It was
it
3,
was.
I think.
Yeah.
Tag 3 friends. Follow us and follow Adventure Dice, and you can win a free set of dice from Adventure Dice. It is their $8 or $12 dice. Just a heads up. Don't get your heart set on any of the $16 dice sets, even though they are gorgeous. And with you'll just win a free set. We'll give you a code you can enter on their website, and they'll ship it to you. Free in the US or Canada. And for those of you who don't win, just a little reminder, you can still get a discount on Adventure Dice's awesome dice with the code Dicecream. Get you 10% off on their website.
Now, Kaylee, is it true that
yes.
with Adventure Dice you roll more natural 20s than any other
No,
dice?
I actually do roll way better with my dice.
I was gonna say,
I heard it.
That unicorn snot
You heard
does
it here
do really
first.
well.
Unicorn Snot is the way to go.
I see.
Emmer can testify. I roll way better with my
First or
Unicorn
third?
Snot dice.
I've heard they
As
make you
your-
better at Nintendo. Is
That's
this
true.
It's true. It's true. I saved
And
the
general
princess.
life.
in general.
Okay, so I gotta pick a winner.
So we have a randomizer. We're gonna pick a winner live.
And I'm gonna take a video of it. So
Yeah,
you can
picking a
pick
winner live on
that.
screen.
Okay, here we go.
Everybody hope for the
Yeah,
best.
do the drum roll.
It's gonna be one of us.
Hope not.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We don't have
The
results
Rock
tonight.
dot Erman.
Okay,
The
never
Rock?
mind.
Throck dot Erman.
Rock.
At Throck dot Erman.
That sounds like a really good superhero alias.
It does.
Like, no one expects Throck Erman, businessman, to be nighttime adventurer.
CEO
Throck
of Late
Erman,
Night
attorney.
Adventure.
Serial
Throck
killer.
Erman.
Rock
Yeah.
Erman.
Oh, guys,
Oh my
guys,
God.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting this. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is claiming that he's won the contest.
Oh,
I see.
I'm sorry, Throck.
We're gonna
Fair
have
enough. We have to
You
get
gotta,
it
you
here.
gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta figure this shit
Gotta
out.
figure it out.
Anyways, congrats, dude.
Yeah.
We'll get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Verify the entry was valid.
You are.
And also, thanks to everyone who entered.
Yes, thank you
You
so
are
much.
also
Yes.
awesome. We're going to be planning a lot more giveaways in the future. So
Yes,
keep your
we've got some cool stuff.
We are.
peeled, ears out.
So I will also say, like, there's been some
Ooh,
cool little
teaser
stuff.
from Jordy.
Yeah, because some of you have seen when we've done some battles and stuff, I've had some cool little, terrain pieces and everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's all getting ramped up to the whole next level. So
Jordy,
we've got
you
one of my
spoil
favorite
us.
new little pieces here, which is a
Woo!
pretty fantastic little door, but it
Wow.
actually opens.
Whoa!
It's fully painted, fully printed, everything actually works. I've got multiple pieces now. It's over 100 printed
It's
terrain
great.
pieces.
Now it's even easier to show that cinnamon comfort fit for your doors.
It's true.
We always argued it. Jordy
Now it's true.
Glad there are
Cinnamon
long natural
cannot
Cannot fit through that door. But Allura can, and we tested it.
We did test
Oh,
it.
really?
We did test it. The door did open,
She
and Allura's mini tumbled
dove
through
through.
the door.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Was
That's
that
like brand for her.
really
Yeah.
beautiful, kind of like acrobatic?
No, it was just whatever direction it fit.
Yeah. Whatever direction.
Whatever direction it goes. But yeah, so we've got some awesome terrain pieces, and so one of the things that we're very excited to talk about and hopefully bring up very soon.
We'll talk about when we planned it.
Once we planned it, yeah.
Don't talk about stuff before.
Fair enough. We won't talk about that. But
teaser. We have cool terrain pieces.
We have cool terrain pieces that will be involved in future giveaways. And let everybody actually get a chance at starting off an awesome little terrain collection, whether it's just walls and floors or stuff like that.
That's right.
It's kind of awesome. 3D printing is super cool, folks, and I highly recommend you get into it.
Up your game.
Up your game, because I don't want to pay
Right up your
$200 a US for
Get up that game.
I didn't want to record his life
Up that game.
That's a lot.
Consensual.
Consensual.
Get up your own game.
Yeah. But other than that, I think we're good. Yeah. So we're gonna dive straight into episode 50. Figure out what the hell's gonna happen this week.
Diving straight in.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
See you guys in
Diving
1 minute.
Up your game.
And we are back. Yeah, we've. I'm kind of curious, to be honest, like as we get started, where we're going to pick up today. So we'll go ahead and get through our intro because it's been
That's
interesting.
a real good question.
It is a real legitimate question. So, last we left off,
Yeah. Good try, Amanda.
having made their way to the Ember Temple, finally clearing off the last item that they could find within the original prophecy that was told to them, the tarot card reading way back when, speaking with Madame Eva. The Sun Sword was located within the Ember Temple. The party left the temple with a new ally in tow. A young mage named Vilnius, who seemed to have been trapped inside Barovia from the Sword Coast. A reminder of the outside world, of people that have souls and are assholes. And just dodgy people in general. But an encounter with Strahd took place. The icon of Ravenloft unfortunately being taken in that encounter. One of the vestiges that had been sought out, found, and unfortunately now removed from the party. However, you did make your way back into the village of Kraisk, spent the evening, had a surprisingly short discussion with Les about the conduct that had taken place. But making your way up to the Abbey, eventually going for the scroll that was seen long ago by a Leaf hiding in a wine cellar, daring theft.
Thrilling escapade.
Escapade between the ladies of the party, deciding to make their way into the Abbey as best they can, undetected. A couple of missteps by Allura, unable to climb a rope, but being hauled up it by a Leaf.
That's that comedy you turn in.
Thankfully, the only person on guard, drunk and asleep. Making your way down the stairs, passing in front of the image of Vasilka, the flesh golem that had been created by the abbot, down into the cellar, grabbing the scroll, untrapped, out for the taking, making your way back upstairs and silently back down the rope. You did leave, to the entire party's surprise, making your way out very, very quickly with your prize in tow.
Surprise.
Really everyone.
Partially. It was a good plan, and that's what I'm here to make sure that executes correctly. So, you did make your way back to Kraisk, loaded up everything into the wagon, Vilnius and Casimir in tow, and set off for the journey back to Vallaki to round up the allies that you have against the devil himself. A message was sent the evening before going to Vallaki to alert Esmeralda of the fact that you were going to be arriving within the village. And she was waiting for you at the Blue Water Inn when you pulled in into the evening, getting some food, some drink, sharing some information and some items with her before eventually going upstairs and jerking off a blade.
You know,
Yeah.
feeling a lot lighter after that one.
But the curse that had befallen the blade was removed, Casimir refusing to be even in the presence of it with the curse gone. The blade was now being wielded by none other than Elite.
No, not no.
A newly minted adamantine blade with all of the screaming echoes of the souls trapped within it removed.
No, not 9,000 years.
Sleep came, a rather restful one, given the first time that most of you had slept in a proper bed and in an inn for quite a while.
It's true.
And the following morning is where we pick up the session. So, first people awake, Leith as usual. You said you wanted to go downstairs and see if the hunters were there?
Yeah, I don't really have anything. I'm not particularly trying to like recruit them or anything. I just wanted to say hi.
You make your way down the stairs to where you would expect them to be, and as usual, they are there. Furs on. It's a little bit on the chillier side today, so they're a little bit more bundled up than usual, but weapons at the side, mostly empty plates of food, and a couple of half-drunk coffee mugs. That's about it.
Can I get like a pot of coffee from Danica and bring it over to them?
Easy enough to do. She vanishes behind the bar for about a minute or so, and then comes back up, piping hot.
Mm-hmm. Did I give her money?
It'll be 2 silver pieces.
Hey, Jordy, while this is going on, I don't know how early this is, but can I try and get up as like early as mechanically possible to start reading?
So you would have needed a full 8-hour sleep.
Yeah.
So you would wake up a little bit after
Okay.
Leith because she doesn't need
Fair
a full
enough.
8 hours as a dusk elf or
How many
a
hours?
drow, I should say.
I only need 4 hours
4 hours of
Oh, fuck, I'm wasted.
yeah.
sleep, but I need 8 hours of like
8 hours
rest,
of
But like
restful-
hanging out in the
No, I
tavern
like it.
counts as
Look,
that.
Mark.
Eating kind of counts. Yeah, it's the same thing as taking a short rest. You can kind of eat,
Yeah.
have light
There's
conversation.
nothing strenuous.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll keep that in mind, Leaf. But Leith going downstairs, pulling the pot of coffee up and popping down on the table. The 2 men look over you and Yevgeny. Again, just kind of jerks awake as usual.
Class.
It's good to see you.
Brought you as a refill. It's good to see you as well.
Well, it is much appreciated on a day like today. I'm sure that we will be freezing our asses off within the next little while. What brings you back to town?
Just touching base with some of the friends we've made in town.
Friends.
Well, as close as you can call it in this land, allies, perhaps.
A bit closer.
Anything exciting like the bow you've found before that you may have found on your travels?
Well, we've been keeping our eyes out as best we could, but there's very little, unfortunately. One of the downsides of having a village as long-lived as this is the woods tend to be fairly picked over.
Understandable. Anything interesting happen about town while we've been gone?
Well, the daughter of Lady Wachter, she has been seen out on the streets a little more. The son of the burgomaster, also being seen walking around. He is not somebody who has left his mansion for quite some time, and the two of them, a bit of a welcome sight with the darkness that Lady Wachter brought to us.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
It was a good change. I am told that you had a hand in that. A few interesting.
We did help liberate her, but her recovery's all her own doing. I'll say that. Have her sons been seen around? We've heard that people haven't really heard hide no hair of them since.
The little shits don't want to come around anymore. A monster such as this, keeping our own daughter locked up for years, they don't want to be associated with that. Which I kind of understand, but it is interesting. Boys having as much money and influence as they did, suddenly vanishing except for faint glimpses here and there.
So you're still seeing glimpses of them around town?
Well, they come out for food.
Why?
Their
See.
bones are hanging a little more skinny than usual.
I would imagine their mother's departure has left them with less resources than they had before.
Well, less so their mother's departure as the entire fucking house.
I
They
heard
lost
that
everything.
it's been burnt to the ground,
It was rather interesting. It remained, and then within a few days it seemed as if a meteor came in over an evening and blew it from the inside out.
But no one heard of anything.
A loud bang, but that is about it. Some of the guards ran over and tried to put out the fires as best they could, but
That's true.
That's interesting.
It's a real fixer-upper in the heart of Valaki.
Well,
In this basement.
curious, but as you said, glad to hear of her daughter and Victor recovering.
If you were the ones to free them, I would recommend going and checking in. It has been some time since you were here last.
We do plan to go pay our respects. Why?
Pay your respects. I'm pretty sure it will be the other way around.
Well, one can't be too cocky.
You're right. Don't take that too much to heart. Evgeny! And he hits him again, and we must get going.
Well,
I like the
it's been a pleasure.
between these two men.
We plan to be setting out for a substantial journey, so if we don't see you again, good luck and stay safe.
We don't have to give you a Powerball.
Is it coming to an end?
Oi.
Good luck to you. And he holds
Thank
out a
you.
hand.
I take it and grasp it and shake it.
Predator
Sort of
handshake.
Shake it and like, yeah, a firm,
of a bitch!
a firm warrior's grasp of friendship.
just,
The forearm.
Yeah, it's the forearm clasp.
Yeah.
Leaf
And
wakes
it's
up.
there's a lot of fur, so it's kind of tough to find a grip on the forearm, but he just kind of... Good luck.
Thank yous, and glad to have this bow with me, so thank yous again.
If we should maintain our souls in these bodies, as the rest of us have, and we manage to escape this place, remember us.
Same with yous. May see you in again another life.
You may. Come on. And he just grabs him by the scruff of the neck and picks him up out of the chair, and they begin to make their way to the door.
I just sit there with a coffee and kind of maybe motion to Danica to grab me a tip for breakfast.
And she, of course. And then vanishes in the back, and you hear some clinking of pots and pans. The kids end up running out, and the kids are like holding over their head the big plate of food and pop it right down in front of you.
It's pretty cute. Children, alright.
I want to try to meditate and try to reach Astilian again to see if I can reach Volos one more time.
Okay. Go and roll a d100.
You rolled high last time.
Yeah, but that was not. I thought I was like, yeah, 92%. It was like, no, that's bad.
What do you have to roll?
You
It's supposed to be low.
Yeah.
It's essentially it's the same thing as a cleric trying to do divine intervention. It's your level or lower.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. What is that?
So it's 009, but you can't have a 00 and a 0 because a 0 is a 10.
Yeah.
So it's
No, I know.
001 to 009.
See a 5.
45.
45. You reach your consciousness out, and you start to feel a little bit of biting cold at the edge of it, and you kind of try to grab onto that, but it seems to just be wind, and it just passes through. And your hand kind of reaches out, and you realize that you're essentially just grasping air. A couple of ice crystals on the tips of your fingers. The connection is still there, but you're not able to grasp anything definitively yet. So Leaf waking up early, starting to read the book.
Yeah, I'm going right into this.
All right, making your way downstairs, grabbing a plate of food, and you just pouring over the book.
You're doing one of these.
So it'll depend on how things progress, but
Yeah.
we'll give you credit for that. Starting to read, we'll say around 8 o'clock or so, and so we'll go from there.
Cool.
So the day is yours. Food is all provided to each of you as part of your room and board, so no charges for that in the morning. What is it that you would like to do in the Locky?
I think first things first, we check in on Ireena.
I was going to say the same. Ireena
Seems
and then
important.
Victor.
I wouldn't mind going to see Carl for a minute as well.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd probably need to pick up some regular arrows as well if we can stop by the stockyards.
But Carl's not being seduced by a vampire man.
Let's hope not.
I don't think they had arrows at the stockyards. I think
Or-
we bought those from the
At the
the
Burgermaster's.
Burgomaster's barracks,
Yeah.
the city barracks.
That's right. Okay, mix them up there while we're at the Burgomaster's to visit Victor. And I fill a party in on what the hunters told me about Victor and what's her name?
Stella?
Stella.
Yeah.
Meow.
No, she was.
Was a cat, I know. There's a reason there was that association.
God, that
Did
would
they?
be
Did the
wonderful.
hunters
Knows.
seem like they might join us in the fight? Did you get any?
I didn't ask
Good.
them. It's not their fight, truly. And they may be skilled hunters, but what we're going up against, we need to have some kind of enhanced ability.
I guess so. Might be able to be coerced into pinch though if we have a bunch of treasure and money. I mean, they work for payment, don't they?
I mean, less for what it's worth, we do know that anyone that, if there isn't someone that's super, we'll say, strong of mind or strong of will, there's a chance that Strahd could turn them against us. So
There
we
is.
want to be
I was gonna say,
selective in the
They'd
people.
maybe be
that we-
more of a.
I'm back into my book.
And besides,
Yeah.
buddy, you're so strong already. You can handle Strahd all by yourself, probably.
That is true. I am very strong.
I just sigh
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
my coffee.
I think
Just-
the leaf's just like.
Yeah. Leaf,
Sounds.
how much more reading do you have in your book?
You know, I've still got a bit to go. I'd say at least. If I was gonna put a number on it, at least 14 hours. No, at least 12 hours.
Do you just want to
So
stay
two
here?
Two more days after today.
We'll say about an 8-hour day and a 4-hour day. So I'll see if I can, squeeze some in
Crank it
today.
up.
And,
Do you want to stay here today while we're out and about and
yeah, if you're gonna go see
Ireena?
yeah, that gang, I'll probably bow out for that and
Anything you want us to look out for at Carl's?
Oh, we can always come back
Yeah. True.
here and then go to calls together.
Right, or the doctor could send Rick to let Leaf know to meet us there.
Also true.
yeah, that's probably best,
I'll make up
But
for that part.
if there's anything, just be sure to say hi to Victor and Stella for me.
We'll
It's not.
bring a bottle of wine along.
Yo, yeah,
Not
Ismark.
doing that, not
I've got
that
some-
Tell him to lay off the cookies. That guy was getting thick the last time.
Hey man,
Everyone
There's
copes
no-
in their own
we
way.
stand aside, King.
The other
That's true.
Another suggestion I have is why don't you do a couple hours of reading today, and then you can come with us, and then you can do a lot of your reading in the evening, because we can't really do much in the evening.
That is true.
Anyways, while it's dark.
That's true.
I mean, we could.
How-
What if we find Gwendolyn again?
How long do you have till
Probably,
till you have to complete?
I think I've got 3 more days.
Yeah, it's today and 2.
Okay, cool. Probably got, from what I can glean about this, about 3 more days. So the way I'm working, I know I probably could take a lighter day today. Sure, it sounds fun. Why not?
Well, why don't we go to pardon me. Why don't we go to Carl's first, and then we can kind of go from there. And if Leaf wants to turn
Yeah, that
around, that's
sounds
the
good.
most essential
Get,
part for you to come to as well.
Yeah, I gotta get Rick to ping me and I'll meet you guys.
Alright.
Cool. Alright, and I'm just back into it.
So I'll say over the course of the food and coffee and everybody waking up, you're able to get another hour done. It's just sitting at the table as everybody's chatting.
While we sit at the table, Leaf slides Allura healing potions surreptitiously under the table, and it's like, I think we should hold on to this for what's to come.
Is this like apparent to the rest of the group?
I don't care if it is. I'm not trying to hide from the group. I'm just trying to hide it from the general group in the
From
crowd.
everyone around us.
Make
Yeah.
just a quick sleight of hand check for me. Actually, you know what? It
Cling,
doesn't
cling,
matter.
cling.
What's that?
Danica's the only one there, so.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. That's fine. I don't care if Danica sees.
Oh, before we leave, I want to walk up to Danica and
I want
say,
her to know.
if you see that drinking champion around, tell her that
So excited.
less is back.
Tonight's the night.
I will make
Right
sure to
before
do
the
this.
eve of battle.
Yeah.
I love
all
it.
your dreams will come true.
Please.
If I can't
God.
live here with one
Let it
victory, at
happen.
least I'll have it over drink.
I will spread some word amongst the guards. See what I can do to potentially draw her out this evening for you.
That would be lovely.
Danica, if you do see any guards, will you pass on to the message if Kai is still around? It'd be great to see them.
I will do my best.
Thank you.
Kai is a difficult person to reach at the best of times. Typically only venturing out for times where they can prove their abilities. But I'll see what I can do.
Well, potentially if Les is building up to what we think he wants to build up to. That sounds.
Less is more, baby.
Wes,
No.
I'm reading right now. Just please.
Try to lighten up the mood a little bit here. It's been so
That's why I
down
think I'm
lately.
reading in here.
Okay, are we going? Do we gotta see where
I'll
John's at?
just stay kind of posted
John,
out
no, we don't
in
need
the,
to talk to
yeah, I'll just kind of post
The
up in
BBEG?
the,
Gondola?
in the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, old John.
In the bottom?
Yeah, the bottom,
I want to see
Oh
what,
my
what
God.
it costs to get a table made.
God, can we not?
Alright, off we go!
Barovia farewell
Have
tour.
fun. If don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Oh boy, lots of leeway.
Alright.
Carl or Burgomaster?
I thought Leaf was coming with us for Carl, so maybe the Burgomaster, or maybe Ireena first then.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Make sure.
you don't want to.
Fuck her.
Oh!
I
Hope
forgot
they
to
like you.
Finally,
really
someone has the guts to say it. We've completely abandoned her. I'm glad it's out there now.
Alright.
Alright, so where first, sorry?
Burgomaster, because I guess that's like a one-stop shop for Ireena and for
Let there be light.
Victor and Stella.
It's daytime.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, this is fun. I get to be a viewer now.
So, Victor, Stella, Ireena, Burgomaster, Arrows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Isaac.
And
Not
that's
Isaac, the other one.
I'll get in on this.
Ismark. That's the
Ismark.
guy.
Ismark. Yeah.
That's.
Do we care about him?
Well, yeah, he's your brother. That's your
If
brother.
we're caring about Ireena, we have to.
I know, but we care about Ireena because Strahd's interested in her, not because we care about her as a person.
I don't want to speak for everybody in the party to say, oh,
Zing.
That got dark.
So, making your way down the familiar path, heading south out from the Blue Water Inn down to the Burgomaster's mansion, you come upon the familiar rock-strewn pathway. The pair of guards stationed outside, definitely looking a lot more relaxed than the last time that you were here, trudging with Stella back into the house. You're escorted up to the door with no real issue. Knocking on the door, the familiar visage of Charles.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Chucky!
Oh yeah, leading up to this, I will have maybe rubbed my hands in some luck or something, and as we get up to the door and he opens it, I just want to go in and shake his hand, good to see you, sir. We're so happy to be back.
And he always just has his hands
We were
behind his
told
back.
we'd have a warm welcome.
He always has his hands behind his
Chucko.
back, and then just kind of, hello.
Big C!
Oh, God, it's you again. Yes.
If I can't
Chuck
shake
E.
his hand, I would just sort of
Cheese.
slap his shoulder oh, good to see us.
That makes Allura chuckle.
As we pass by, I want to
What
toss him a
may I
silver.
do for you today?
We'd like to pay our respects to the Burgomaster and to Ireena and
Ismark.
Stella and Victor and
A brother.
Ismark.
We care about them both equally.
We care about all folks
Equally. Equally, Chucko.
Well, who should I tell is coming to see them first?
Equally.
Do you want to see everyone together?
We can go see Ireena. Perhaps you can see if Ireena grants an audience first of all.
I will do my best. She has not left her room much recently.
Oh, that's promising.
And so he ascends the staircase, hands behind his back, and you see him reach the top of the stairs and then just kind of try to get as much of the mud off as possible.
Bill us for dry cleaning.
And then vanishes down the hallway, and you do hear the Miss, your friends
so
downstairs. Miss Ireena, your friends downstairs.
I'm gonna head up the stairs behind him.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we just
might
kind
as
of follow and just.
And you see, as you head up the stairs and kind of turn the corner and look over at him, the door does crack, and you see a somewhat disheveled-looking Ireena. A little bit more than usual, where before it was the, I am in a lap of luxury and I'm having all the things that I've wanted and never having to worry about, having to be in armor anymore. Now it's just kind of the, descended into the slight little bit of, too much freedom almost. And not really sure what to do. So,
How you doing, champ?
Ireena. And I'm kind of make myself.
It's
apparent.
hoping friends.
so you see that she kind of recoils a little bit inside the door, and then just kind of realizing the face is just kind of, oh,
Call her champ.
hello. It's been some time since you were here. What brings you back? It's good to see all of you.
I bet.
Sorry, I apologize for my
How you holding up there?
Does she have
Start
any
a phone.
marks?
Perception check.
Bite?
I was gonna ask if while they're talking to her, if I could take a look around the room to see if I.
She is very much door
Should
is
we have-
barely open.
Oh, I didn't open it.
Should we
Okay.
have discussed what we were telling her before we
15.
got here?
I think we just confront her.
I
and
think
find
we're in
out.
a good place.
Yeah.
Looking at her, you don't see any bite marks, but you do see what appear to be scratches at her neck. And then kind of looking on her arms, there seem to be some more on her arms.
Oh.
Ireena, what happened to your arms?
And she just like hurriedly pulls the gown to cover her arms and just kind of like lifts the neck up a little bit.
Do you want me to take a look at those? I am a doctor.
No, it's fine.
You sure?
Yes, just getting acclimatized to my new way of life.
On the inside then.
Go for it. For what?
Well, I mean, she's clearly not getting acclimatized in real life. But I want to see if there's any like particular way she's hiding them, or get an idea of what the scratches look like, if they're self-inflicted.
Sure. Go make a insight check.
Okay. All right. That's okay. That's a 20.
20?
Yeah.
Judging by the sizing of the scars, doesn't appear to have been made by a creature of some kind.
Okay.
You see that her nails are broken and chipped a little bit.
Self-inflicted.
There's a chance they might be.
These wounds are self-inflicted.
How have things been since we last saw you?
They've been good. Having a lot of food, a lot of time to myself, not having to worry about the outside world or even venture out into it. It's been quite nice.
Hey, Hope, do you want to maybe hang out with Ireena for just a second? I just want to chat with the party.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course.
I appreciate that.
Yes, let me just put something on. And she just closes the door, and you hear some rummaging a little bit, and like trips over something, and then comes back and is wearing like essentially a house coat over the gown that she was sleeping in.
When
Can I come in?
with all of that rustling, does it sound like there's more than one person in there?
Make a perception check.
There's a sock on the door.
That'll be a 6,
6.
I think.
Yeah,
that's a 6.
John goes out the back.
I
Sounds like the pretty
encounter with you.
Sounds like the pretty standard.
Oh, it's a 9. I'm sorry. It's a 9.
It's a 9. Sounds like the pretty standard tumbling of a single person just trying to find their way,
Okay.
probably in an unlit room.
Okay.
Yeah. But she does eventually come back, house coat over, and then just kind of like opens the door just enough to squeeze through, and then closes the door behind her.
May I come in with you to chat alone?
We can find a place to do that. There are enough rooms in this house.
Do you not wish to invite us into the chamber?
Just now is not the best time.
Of course. Well,
Why?
It's a bit messy. I don't feel comfortable having people in my room at the moment, but another time.
Is it actually messy?
Yeah, I was gonna say insight.
Perception.
Is
She's
she
one of
lying?
those
Like-
people that like it's not really that messy.
it's just a bunch of newspapers.
Yeah.
That
So
is
close.
a 19.
19.
11 for insight. I was just gonna say if she was lying.
She's pretty tough to read. She seems to be pretty genuinely honest and like very just upset at her appearance and the outward demonstration of what she's looking like at the moment. It just doesn't seem to want to invite anybody into the room.
If you'd be more comfortable with this, you could perhaps meet up with us later. If you want some
Yeah.
time to kind of.
No.
Well,
Sorry, I just had something in my throat.
I don't know.
you-
I don't think we
you're
can meet up
here.
later. We've got much
Yeah.
to do today. Preparations.
Hope, I know you really wanted to catch up with Ireena. Maybe you
We
could
have
go,
a lot to share.
Well, I
Our
haven't had
adventures.
breakfast this morning. Have you eaten?
I have. I actually ate rather a lot. Oh no, but I will happily.
I
come
think
with
you're
you.
probably really hungry again.
I think
You
you're
didn't have very
very
much to
hungry.
eat.
Yeah.
You're starving. You're rail
And
thin.
the Blue Water Inn was out of coffee, so perhaps that'd be good for you to join
Yeah.
Ireena.
Oh, I would like coffee.
Yeah.
We can go down to the dining hall and grab some breakfast. And perhaps my brother will be there. I'm not sure.
Ireena, actually, that brings me to another question before you and Hope go off. Have you seen Ismark? We'd like to catch up with him too. We just got back.
Well, I
into
mean,
town.
he is just down and across the
Oh,
hall.
that's great. We're gonna catch up with him while you guys go to coffee.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
May do you? Yeah, because I hate to say this, but I heard you tumble before. Do you need an arm to hold?
No, I was just there were a few cluttery things on the ground, and I just lost my footing. And she just kind of reaches into a pocket of her gown and pulls out a small brass key and puts it in the door lock and locks the door. And So, downstairs?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And she makes her way down and kind of begins to hold herself with a little bit more presence now as she's walking. But Charles leads the two of you downstairs.
So once they're safely out of earshot,
Sneaky girl's going to sneak.
Yeah.
I would like to inform the rest of the party that's with me.
I'm like at the door.
Yes, thank you, Allura. You're in position. So, I don't know if you all noticed all of them scratches all over
Oh, yes.
Ireena.
Yeah.
Those are self-inflicted.
Yeah, I was
Those
thinking
are
the same.
Fingernaily.
There's some kind of inner turmoil going on with her, for sure.
I imagine that could be part of it, yes. I would suggest, and I see our friend is already in position.
One of you guys is watching down the stairs.
That's absolutely what I'm going to say.
It's pretty clear to be able to see.
Us doing this?
No,
Or watching?
that-
Okay.
to be able to watch.
Okay.
So we're going to Elite lets you and I post up and just make sure that both sides are covered. If we need less, we can count on you to cause a distraction. You like those.
I'm very good at that.
You like those a lot.
Yes.
Those will be fun.
Less is a distraction.
I'm at the top of the stairs, right?
Ready to kick a base.
I'm ready to kick whatever you want me to
Whatever
kick.
looks the most expensive.
There is a table with some
Charles.
small gold figurines on it, so
Perfect.
So Les,
I got my kicking leg ready.
I'll try and assist Allura as much as I can.
yeah, lockpicks. There isn't really a way to do it, so
Missing
go
gig?
make
Okay.
a lockpick check, sleeves tools check, I should say.
A natural 20.
Yo.
20. Yeah, fitting the tools in, trying to find the catches. It's a lot easier than you thought it was going to be. You know, it's a simple key lock. It's not really anything beyond a standard one. And so you find the tumblers quite easily, rotate the pieces, take an extra one, and just get a nice heavy thud on the lock. And the door is available to you.
Can I check for traps?
Sure. Go make an investigation check.
Baby trap man and real.
The room explodes.
18.
Doesn't appear to be trapped.
Cool. I'm gonna.
You feel pretty confident she just opened the door and walked out.
Yeah, I'm just being very
Cautious.
wary because
Wait, did you check the floor?
Last
we
time
assume.
we also did get in trouble for sneaking around this house.
Hey,
Oh
Les,
right, I don't remember that, but
Yeah.
Allura remembers that.
Allura remembers that in a minute.
Yes.
Les, buddy, while
Yes.
we're here, do you mind hanging out outside the room just in case Ismark comes out? Because I know you and him, you're buddies. You can take care of him. You can take care
I
of
can
him.
take care of him.
You can take care of him, Les.
Alright.
Just rattling down the fucking stairs.
I'm
got no problem
glad
with
I'm
that.
not here to be like, no.
Why do you question you
I'll do
now?
whatever I can to make up for the loss I had from before.
That's right.
I gotta kick an old man down the stairs.
Ismark's not an old man, but that's fine.
Oh
Let's
no,
real
that's
quick,
not
you guys, focus.
Les,
So-
I'm just saying, you
Hey.
do whatever it
I'm just saying I can
Focus.
kick an old man.
Door
Amazing.
opens. The room is pitch black. There isn't a single light source inside.
I peek
Are the
in.
blinds drawn?
I'll just flip on my
Okay.
goggles.
So those of you with dark vision, you peer into the door. The little bit of light that comes in from the torch sconces that are in the hallway. The floor is a mess. There are torn clothes on the ground. A lot of pieces of what look like maybe artwork that have just been pulled off the walls and tossed onto the ground. Like, this is not the room of somebody whose mind is at ease. But otherwise, looking around the room, you don't see another person.
Okay.
Hey, Allura, let's get in
Drawers,
here and close the door.
doors, everything. Yeah.
Floors.
I'm gonna be looking for anything that looks like, because there was a lot of like symbolism and summoning things that Fiona Wachter had to possibly get to talk with Strahd. We
Right.
thought.
Anything that looks like it could
Anything-
be a
yeah, anything-
channel to conduit with
yes.
him.
It's that same ass in high school.
We're gonna make an
It's a cool ass.
Make an investigation check.
Jordy,
Yeah.
I just wanted noted that as the three of us are in there, that I am closing the door.
Yeah.
And making it as like surreptitious as possible.
10.
Investigation is 10. Looking around, nothing of any demon iconography. Looking for any kind of dolls, nothing there.
Yeah, I was gonna say dolls like Isaac's doll.
Yeah.
I pull
I
out the
assumed-
secret wand of secrets.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Because that was the next thing I was gonna say was let's look for some.
Use the wand.
Yes, please.
Okay. You pull out the wand, mutter the incantation under your breath, and kind of begin to look around the room, see if anything begins to ping. Nothing in the room pings.
Cool. Okay.
Is there? Can I take a look and see if there's any sign that, like, there has been an altercation, like Strahd or like someone
Sure.
else.
Go make a perception check looking around.
There's nowhere in this room that could sort of hold a vampire spawn.
Gross.
Just a dirty.
The only thing is the wardrobe, which is open, and a lot of the clothes have been pulled out of it.
Was it
Okay.
12?
12?
Not right.
Not great. Looking around the room, altercation specifically with your dark vision, you're looking for signs of blood, signs of any kind of scratching, markings, or anything. You do notice that there is a couple of points on the walls that seem to have similar style nail marks to what were on Ireena's
He's
arms.
driving her crazy.
Or
And
perhaps Tatiana is.
kind of thinking and looking around a little bit and like realizing where these scratches are. The scratches seem to be on the wall that faces the exterior of the building.
I
For the most part.
trying to
Oh,
get
she's
out.
trying to get out.
I'm going to be, in the meantime, sort of looking through the drawers and trying to see if I can find anything just of interest that might indicate her state of mind or indicate a connection with Strahd.
Okay.
Can I assist with that?
Sure. I'll let you, both of you make or investigation at advantage, I should say.
Do I hear or see anything coming close?
You kind of pay attention a little bit and like looking down the hallway, you're like,
That's
this is a
funny.
little boring. And then you start to walk down the hall and you kind of, you know where Ismark's room is because you've been up there before, and you kind of just like lean in a little bit and you just hear
Flashing.
from the other side of the door. He is sound asleep.
He needs to get checked for sleep apnea.
Yeah.
21.
21. Looking through the drawers, pulling things out, you do find there is a false bottom on one of the drawers. It looks like it's very crudely made,
Like she made it herself. It
yeah,
wasn't, like,
essentially trying to keep things there. And pulling it out in the dark, it's a little bit tough to see. You do have to cantrip your lights to be able to see what's
I do?
written.
Really?
Yeah, to see what's written on the page.
Okay,
Yeah, you would. But it's a dark room, so
Don't
it's
piss
not the
him
worst
off.
thing in the world.
Dark
so-
vision.
Yeah, the lights do come on.
Ultraviolet.
You just see the words "I am sane, I am sane, I am sane, I am sane" written over and over and over
Well,
on the
guys,
sheet of paper.
And I
I
just
think
sort of
she's
like,
sane.
I think that anyone who has to declare it this many times probably fucking isn't.
And there appears to be multiple colors of ink, multiple depths of scratch marks, as if it's gotten progressively worse. Much larger font the deeper you go, and it seems to be 12, 13 pages of just the same words written over and over, starting out with very simple, legible lines, and maybe 20 to 30 lines per page, and then eventually reaching a point now where it's like 6,
I
just
take
in
it with me.
gigantic font.
Let's take this downstairs.
Guys, how do we
Yeah,
want
let's-
to approach this with Ireena?
Let's get out of this room first.
Probably
We'll
why.
talk about it on our way down.
So easily enough,
Yeah.
hiding the pieces of paper, closing the door behind you.
Yeah.
I think
Lock it?
Yeah.
we,
Go and make a lockpick check.
I think that, yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking more like what you were going to say.
I think we have to tell the Burgomaster and get him on the side of getting Ireena safe from Strahd somehow.
22.
I mean,
22.
I agree.
Although then he'll tear this place apart looking for her.
That's the thing, is I don't know that we trust the Burgomaster.
Sorry, 24.
on this.
Even easier.
Um,
So the familiar of the lock closing behind you as Allura silently stands up.
Well, we know that she's crazy.
Oh no, I left my contact lenses in there.
How are we going to be able to use this to our advantage, really? I mean, does Strahd have such a longing for her that we could use her to our advantage
what I was
somehow?
thinking.
Like a bait?
and
Like bait, or maybe just like pretend kidnap her for a little bit?
Now, I'm a
So-
big fan of this plan, but I don't think Hope's going to be.
Well,
do we believe Strahd that she has the soul of his wife inside her? Do we think that she is a person who is able to be saved, or is she at this point just a pawn that we can use? I don't really. I personally am erring on the first or the second, the pawn bit, but I know that again, Hope isn't going to be very happy about that.
I think, I mean, what we know of Vallaki is that souls are recycled here, and that not everyone has them. And that's weird, but I'm going with it.
She also looked exactly like.
Yeah,
The other
I think
girl.
that the evidence
I
shows
think
that
we
she
can-
is the reincarnation of his wife.
I think, personally, here's what I think. If we really want to piss off the big man, we find a way to save her.
Why don't we bring her to the Abbey
Yeah.
of St. Markovia?
I think that.
Sorry, no.
my-
No. The Abbey in town.
Bad idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if you wanted to have like a horse head or something, maybe.
here's the thing.
Here's the new Ireena.
It's BoJack Horseman.
Oh, good.
I meant
Final season
okay.
on now. I actually,
The Abbey.
I agree that I'm less inclined to bring her to the Abbey, but I do think, like, if Strahd can't see into the lands beyond those gates, why don't we take her to fucking Kraisk?
We're in the lands behind the gate, beyond the gates.
Yeah, but we know Strahd knows she's here.
I don't think we can do that to the people of Kresk.
Yeah.
What about bringing her to the tower? Can we find a way to keep her there?
I don't think so. Also, there's no food there.
We can bring
We
food.
can bring food. We've got a whole wagon we can load up.
But still, how does that put things in our favor? We're just like hiding her from him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we hide her from him. I think there's got to be a way to, like, fucking, at very least, make Big Boy mad by either, like, removing her from the equation, or maybe, like, I'm a fan of the bait idea. I just don't think, certain.
Is there any way that we could try to... Maybe we need leave for this. Is there some way that we could try to turn her back against him if she so far has been turned in favor of him?
I mean, now we've seen that weak minds tend to be easily controlled by Big Boy.
Hey, sometimes it's just
No,
it's
no,
not about everything breaks my
Not
way.
you.
Not you.
Other people
Other
who have been
people.
controlled by Strahd, but not you.
No, you're very strong, and you can take Strahd all by yourself.
I
like that.
can do that.
I'm sure you can. I'm excited to
and
see
I
it.
will do that.
So, I'm
With
sure you
permission.
will. No, you will. I know you will. I'm giving you permission right now. You can do it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I think that there's another angle we could potentially use. If we tell Ireena what we know of her history, of the soul that she carries, I think that, and tell her that we understand and that we still stand beside her, I think that there's the potential that us showing we understand, she might be more willing to fight against the draw to him.
Or we could tell her that we plan on to attack Strahd at a certain date and do it earlier.
Let's put that one on the back burner.
So, something I'm not a religious woman, truly, but is there anything that says that her soul, just because it belonged to Strahd's wife, needs to repeat the same life choices
You know what?
once it's reincarnated?
I can.
When we
think of
first
that.
met her, she wanted nothing to do with Strahd.
Yeah, she had gone to visit him and then actively was trying to remove herself from him.
This isn't the room of a woman who is happy with her destiny of becoming Strahd's beloved again.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I say if we show her support and that we know what's going on, we understand the turmoil she's in.
Or at least try that and then gauge very closely how she reacts to it.
We know she's talking to Strahd at least somehow. Why are we trusting her with the knowledge that we know that?
Yeah. I don't think you want to reveal those cards
I
too
mean,
early.
I know, Laura, I know you're not a huge fan of this, but there is that ghost dude in Berez who could speak to exactly what is going on with Ireena, because him and daughter went through
I don't know if he's cognizant enough that he could give us advice on a current situation. Usually ghosts are more of a record of their past. They can tell us what happened and tell us their story, but they're not going to be able to give us advice on something happening now.
it. No, but he could certainly speak to what happens when a girl is, or when someone has Strahd's soul, or Strahd's wife's soul in
I
them.
mean,
Yeah.
we know what choice he made.
I know what choice he made, and he took that choice from her. I believe that.
Would you rather Ireena go to Strahd?
Do we have to? We don't have to tell her everything. We can tell her what we already know that Strahd knows, which is that we can say the name Tatiana, see if she reacts.
Right.
We can say what's going on with you. We have some knowledge. Clearly, you're not all right.
Right.
What I'm saying, I don't think we should trust her.
I'm not saying trust her, but I'm saying gauge her reaction when we tell her things that it costs us nothing to tell her because Strahd already knows them, but that she might not be aware that we know. Right now, she's acting like a woman who thinks that she's at some point fooling somebody. And
Right. She thinks
we're
she's
telling-
alone.
Yeah.
We're
She
telling
thinks she's
her.
she's facing this
Mhm.
guy on her own. Or she doesn't necessarily understand what's happening.
At the very least, we can tell her that the facade is not fooling us and see how she reacts to it.
Yeah.
We can offer support if that's something that we think is appropriate, or at that point we can realize that what she is just a conduit to Strahd and act accordingly.
I think giving disinformation could be a huge advantage for us somehow. If we basically lie to her about something and then she relates it to Strahd, that could give us an
I
edge
don't think
on
Strahd's
something.
going to trust anything coming from her now.
Yeah,
that
she's
been
too
in
smart for
contact with
that.
us.
I don't know about
Think
that.
so?
I do. I mean,
Well,
If-
I'm open to hearing concrete ideas for that.
I just here's my thinking. I think we got to get her further away from Strahd. I think that's my thinking. Like Strahd knows she's here because Strahd has been here. Strahd had people here when we brought Ireena into town. If we bring her elsewhere, he doesn't have that same connection.
But
I
where
do-
is safe to bring her?
Honestly,
Nowhere is safe.
Well, of course, nowhere is safe. But the safest of other places we could take her, and in fact the only other place we could take her, is Kresk. We can't leave her in Berez.
We don't know how much he knows about where we've been staying. I mean, he's been scouting us at night. I'm sure he's figured out that we have been at Kresk. And
Yes.
it's a death sentence for those people. And
Yeah,
everyone in
that's-
Barovia, they've been the ones who've actually welcomed us. And
I mean,
The
that
quickest
tower
and
with
easiest. I
with
agree
the
with
secret
Elise.
lock with the dragon and everything might be, at least it has some defense behind it, and he can't get into
There
like...
is an open wall lesson.
Right.
We
What?
also know I would put out there that Strahd does not seem willing to take Ireena by force unless the people try to stop her from leaving. Ergo, I think it might because the people of Kresk, if we just leave a lady there, they'll probably be okay with it. They'll just ask her to do some chores or whatever.
will she be willing to go somewhere else?
I mean, that's kind of the question. I do think we should maybe take her by fucking Berez, just so she can see what she's got in store for her if she chooses to go down this dark road of drugs. I mean, Strahd.
I don't think threatening her with ending her life in order to win her over to our side is going to go very well if what she is possessed by the spirit of an ancient queen.
Well, okay, but here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we threaten to kill her. I'm not saying death is what's going to happen. I'm saying this dude, even though he may have taken the choice away from her, whether or not she wanted to go be vampire queen, he's a ghost, been here for a while, kind of knows the lay of the land better than any of us do. He probably has an idea of what happens when people make the choice to become vampire queen. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but I think that perhaps I don't think we'll be able to agree on really a plan until we just talk to her and figure out what side she's really lying on.
Okay, but if she wants to go be with Strahd, what do we do? Because I don't think that's it. See, big fan, love it. However, I am certain there will be a mutiny if that's the case.
All right, well, perhaps not that, but at least keeping her.
But like, what's
But
the
okay,
worst
well, yeah,
thing that
what's-
can happen if she becomes, if she
What?
goes to
Yeah.
Strahd?
What power will that?
Does that give him
What
an advantage on
advantage
anything?
does that give to him?
We don't know, which is what worries me about it.
We just want to keep her away from him, lickety split.
We also, also if we make him mad by getting her out of his purview, he's more likely to fuck up.
I don't know
What if
about
we
that.
distract him by giving him the love of his life?
That's true as
Real
well.
razzle dazzle.
Right?
But I'm a big fan of sentencing a woman who's clearly not in the best of mental
If she
faculties.
wants to go,
Is there
right?
any
That's that we take that in stride
Is there
and
any?
we work with
Sorry,
it.
didn't need to. I'm learning. Is there any way we could attach a spell or some kind of magical
like a
item to
magic
her, so
bomb
when
or
she
something? Big
not
fan.
maybe it won't hurt her, but be oh, pat on the back, go see Strahd. We put a magical thing on her back, and then when they get close, we go boom.
You can send Rick with her.
I'm not.
No,
first off,
he would see Rex.
we do not have a magic bomb with which to
Yeah.
do this
Oh,
plan.
I
mean, not
also
a
think that
bomb,
this is a
but,
lot of
you
this
know.
is a lot of logistics. We've been in this friggin' hallway for ages.
Yeah, we're hanging out. Having a good
Yeah,
time.
I think
Sure, they
we
think
need to
I put my
make this
40
is all
hours.
decisions that we need to make with the whole group here. I
Alright.
think that if she decides to go back to Strahd, we'll just use that. If she decides to tell us that she's fighting him off, does not want to go, that, she's far enough removed from Tatiana and Tatiana's soul that that's not what she wants, we have to allow her to have that choice. That's what I disagreed with. Everything about what happened in Thank you, Perez. That little girl was murdered.
I don't think she was a little girl. I think she was in her 20s.
She was how old was she?
Late teens.
Oh,
Yeah.
17, 18.
So, she was murdered. They never gave her a chance to fight what was happening to her. She had no choice in that, and that's what I disagree with. I think that, we share with Ireena what we know to a point, not everything. We let her make her choice, and then we figure out what we're doing from there. I think that maybe we leave right now, get all of the rest of the stuff done in the city that we need to get done. We come back and we talk to her again another day when we're ready. They're like, okay, everything is set. We talk to her, see what's going to happen with her. That way everything is set. We've got everything done. We've already, because if we talk to her right now and then shit hits the fan with Strahd, her telling Strahd, her going to Strahd, whatever that might be, we're not prepared. We haven't talked to anyone. We haven't laid any of our plans. We haven't gotten any of the stuff that we need to get. Let's leave this here and come back to it, and let this be the last thing that we do.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I do suggest we take her for a walk in the sunshine and see what happens.
That's a great idea, but I don't think that we need to tell her anything and decide anything right now, because we haven't set anything up.
I think also perhaps we need to include Hope in this conversation.
Yeah.
They will be very
And
hurt if we
leave.
decide Ireena's fate without them.
I just don't think it's a wise choice to let her go back to Strahd. I don't have a bad feeling about it.
I'm not saying we do that, and I think this is going to be a big conversation perhaps with the whole group. I personally,
You have
Allura, I
experience with
understand
the
your
undead.
perspective. The girl before, she made her choice. Her father said that she was about to go to Strahd, and that was the night before that was about to happen, or the day before that was supposed to happen, was when he killed her. I don't necessarily think that was a perfect decision, but I don't think this is a land of perfect possibilities.
I think it was a mercy choice, frankly.
I'm not going to go as far as say that either, but we will have some difficult choices ahead of us with Ireena, depending on how she reacts. But I think you're right that we could give her the option to tell us she needs help first.
All right.
But I think that
But
this
perhaps
is
not right now.
I think that we need to get everything else. I think it was a poor choice for us to come here first. I think this was like the last thing we needed to do.
I'm always like being prepared. You know that. That's like number one.
It's your favorite thing.
My favorite thing.
preparation.
We didn't know how we'd find her when we got here. Strahd
That's
could have been lying
Yep.
to us. So
Yep.
now we
Well,
know.
Now we know.
He wasn't.
Let's go and get prepped up, and then this
Let's
will
talk
be
to
the,
Victor.
the
Perhaps
chain
Victor
of
will have
reactions.
noticed something strange with her.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Ishmark.
At this point, you
What's her brother's name?
Ismark.
you
Close.
and the doctor hear from down the hall from someone coming to the door at Ismark's side, and then you just kind of hear the door opening. Would you keep it down? Some of us are trying to sleep. And
Hey,
you see
buddy.
the substantially pudged out face.
My man.
Yeah, my
it's
guy.
only really been like a month-ish, give or take, in total since he got here, and this is someone who has partaken in the food and drink and everything available.
Can I insight check what he meant by keep it down on here? Like, does he? Is there an indication that he was listening
He is
to what
literally bedhead off the side of his head, sleep coming out of his
Right,
eyes,
okay.
one eye half
Okay.
cocked, he is just.
So there's
he
like-
was
The
sleeping.
perfect
So there's no
Yeah.
way that he heard what we were talking about.
As best you can tell, he
Okay.
the reason he's coming out is to tell you to shut the fuck up so you can go back to sleep.
Ismark,
Oh,
buddy,
okay.
it's us. It's
Good
your
to
friend,
see
Les
us.
Paul.
Hey.
We'll see us downstairs.
I can smell
In an
brunch.
hour.
I can smell breakfast.
And he kind of half vomits into his mouth, and you can
Ew.
tell he was probably pretty wasted last night.
Yeah.
It just
Don't get that drinking championship.
no food. Slam. The door slams, and you just hear boom, boom, of somebody just falling onto a bed.
Cross the river with the Walker boys.
So he's doing okay.
Reminds
All
me
right,
of
let's
some
move
people
on.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Can we cut to me? And
Yes.
Ireena?
So, from you having that whole
CJ.
conversation, rewind. So, Charles reaching the bottom of the stairs with you and Ireena, escorting you into the dining chamber. She stays relatively quiet and is just like kind of subconsciously just keeps pulling the cuffs of her sleeves down. Food is prepared and brought out and within a few minutes, and she's just kind of nice and silent and I suppose it's time to eat. And you see her just kind of like looking at the plate and like looking at everything that's on the plate and like trying to figure out what she wants to start with and having like a legitimately difficult time picking it.
I see that, and so I'm assuming I've been given a plate of food as
Yeah,
well.
same plate.
And I kind of taking liberty at what has been put on our plates. I look at this like delicious artisanal toast, and I'm like toast, and I kind of
It's like a sourdough rosemary,
Oh, yeah,
like
like
cracked
it's like-
rock salt, flaked sea salt on the top.
like
Yeah.
it is
Bread.
divine, and like pools of butter melted on.
Tell me
Oh
more
no,
about
it's a
bread.
little pot of melted butter for you to decide how much you want.
Okay, and I'm like,
Yo, why
Yeah,
did we
I'm
ever
like this-
leave this place?
And then a spoon is for the butter as well. No knives because it's
yeah, I'm like, this looks like a good start. I remember it being very delicious last time. And
yes, it's always quite good. And she picks up the smallest piece of bread and then just takes like the spoon and dips into the butter and then just kind of like does a little bit of a drizzle over it and then just kind of cheers.
yeah,
And just takes like a tiny little bite off of the corner.
yeah. I'm.
What? Vampires don't eat bread. Just saying.
I don't know that. We've never seen a vampire not eat bread.
We're doing this.
Yeah. And yeah, I put my slice down and I'm like, I'm sorry, I haven't been in touch whilst we've been away. Have you been spending time with any folks?
I suppose wife to be of the burgomaster's son. She and I have chats every once in a while. Leading somewhat similar captive backgrounds. Hers obviously far more intense than mine, but we've had a few interactions. Beyond that, Ismark and I have had a bit of a growing apart. He always wanted the life of a nobleman's son, and now he has that. Anything that he wishes to partake in, he is provided. But as a result, I tended to withdraw a little bit from him.
Yeah.
And she just kind of like takes another small bite of
I'm
the bread.
glad that you and Stella have been talking.
Stella, yes.
I also just want to say that your experiences are valid. You shouldn't feel that you need to compare yours against someone else's. That doesn't make yours any lesser, what you felt and what you've been through.
I appreciate you saying that. It's difficult to not, though. I mean, captive in her own house for years, with her mother running experiments with her, and just horrific. I mean, as much as I don't want to compare that to what I've been through, it is two entirely different experiences. One of them, at least from my perspective, does seem substantially worse. But I do understand what you're saying, of course.
Well, from what you've told me in the past, yours is still pretty horrific, even if it's in a different way.
Yes.
I'm here for you, and I kind of try to reach across to kind of like.
She just
touch
kind
her
of
hand.
instinctively like isn't really paying attention to you, and then just feels your hand touch hers, and she just kind of like jerks a little bit and
Sorry,
pulls
I
away.
should have asked before.
Sorry, it's just a little jumpy lately. And she just like kind of picks up the toast and like goes to take a bite of it, and then just kind of like takes it out of her mouth and just puts it down on the table.
You said that you've been spending time with Stella, but have you been experiencing any contact, any physical contact with anyone?
No, I was never really much one for that to begin with. When you grow up your whole life with just your father and your brother, and then a village of people who would trade their children for pastries, it's not exactly the kind of environment that leads to close physical interaction. Since arriving here, I've been under the protection of the Burgomaster's household, which I've greatly appreciated. Everything provided to me, but I have had no real reason to, again, change my nature.
There was another thing that you mentioned before that I wanted to ask about, if that's okay.
Of course.
You said that Ismark is leading the life that he's always wanted to do. Is being here letting you live the life that you want?
It allows me to do anything that I would like. But what could possibly be better than that?
That you didn't really answer that question. Are you comfortable answering that question here?
What do you mean by here?
Just anywhere. Would there be somewhere that you would feel safer talking about these things? Or more comfortable doing so?
No, I'm quite fine. The house offers all the safety that the village can provide. Nothing can get in.
When you, yeah.
Yeah. Chuck.
I know, yeah. When she's saying nothing can get in, is that what I think it means?
Make an insight check.
Hey.
That is a 21.
21? Yeah. Nothing can get in. Is what she seems to be trying to convince herself.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think for a second.
Yeah, it's all good. The thing to remember here as well is you haven't seen the inside of the room, so you don't know the scratches on the walls or anything like that.
Yeah, no,
so,
I know. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable by me drawing attention to this, but can I help with I can help heal the scratches?
No, I'm perfectly capable of taking care of that myself. Just a few difficult nights of sleep, a couple of unwelcome dreams, and I tend to wake up in the morning with a few scratches on my arms. Nothing to worry about.
Sucks.
Things that I will be able to take care of.
Is this something that you've experienced before?
Not to this degree, no. I mean, the terrors coming to me, reminding me of what was happening when I was still back in Barovia, living in my father's home with Ismark, and creatures would come in the night and claw up the walls, and I would awaken in the middle of the night with the claw marks on my arms, neck, legs, pretty much everywhere. It's been happening for the better part of a week.
For a week?
Actually, no. It's only the last half week, maybe 3 days.
Oh my god. Since we fought him.
Is there... I remember when we first met you, we helped defend against some creatures scratching.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm on the second floor. There's no way to get up to the walls. There's no way in the front door. This guard's constantly on watch. It's just dreams. Just dreams. It's fine.
Have you thought about perhaps having someone stay the night with you?
I would much rather not. There's something very private about this that I do not want to have shared with anybody else.
I understand and respect that. I appreciate how much you've shared with me today.
Yes, well, yes. She just
Would you
kind of like
a
looks
little
back
bit
at the
more of
toast.
the toast, yeah.
And she just kind of like looks back at the toast and like picks it up again and then just kind of like just like tosses it back on the plate and like pushes the plate away.
Are you struggling to eat?
One does not find much of an appetite when sleep is troublesome and well, not to put too fine a point on it, but every time I close my eyes I hear the voice of the man who tormented me for the better part of my life. So it's a little difficult to have much room for food.
I can't understand. I can empathize, but I can't understand what that must be like. I wonder if there's something that Leaf or I could do to help with that sleep, to maybe stop that voice occurring, or just for you to just...
Well, I mean, it was what you came here to do originally, right? You were brought to these lands, and ever since the time that I met you and all of this was uncovered, you said that you were going to kill the devil. Kill him. Do it. She just kind of like takes a cup of water and then just kind of like gestures to one of the servants to come over and then just wine. And then pushes the water away.
Yeah.
Drinking.
It's like 9:30 in the morning.
Get a good start.
So wine is brought over in a small like port glass, and she just kind of drains it, and then just kind of as the person is the servant is leaving, she gestures for them to come back and refill it again. So
That got real.
the sooner you do that, I hope the sooner this ends. For the time being, nothing gets in.
I do wonder if we can help facilitate some kind of short-term release for you.
What would you do? Leave one of you behind? No, of course not.
No, but I'm more thinking of something to ease your mind whilst you rest. It's likely that there is potentially something we can do. If you allow it.
Anything? Just kill him. That's what I need. I need that freedom. You can see that she like starts to break down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. May I comfort you?
No. I can deal with this on my own. There may be a time in the future, but no. And she kind of like reclines back in the chair and like just kind of buries her head. You can see that looking at her little, her hands are just like white knuckled, as if she's been holding her hands just clasped as hard as possible underneath the table, nails dug into, and you can see little bits of blood appearing on her hands. So, at this point, the rest of you descending the stairs, coming down, seeing this, and again you kind of see the door open for all of you to come into the room, and Ireena just looks over the door and hurriedly like wipes her hands, and then just kind of like puts them onto the gown and onto the chair.
What do we sort of perceive when we see this tableau? Like, is her distress like palpable?
Oh, 100%. The whole room is basically just Ireena's on the edge of snapping.
And we can see the glass of wine in front of her.
The half-drunk glass of wine, a little bit on the side
I
of
feel like
her.
that's normal and
Can I,
Fantasy
like, with
world.
you coming through, can I be like, did you find Isma?
Yeah, he was
still asleep, but it sounds.
We did have a small chat with him. It was good to see him, but he was still quite groggy from previous nights and exertions.
How does Ireena look?
Exertions. Lack thereof.
Oh!
World star.
No one get me.
So high five, Ireena.
Have you been able to keep up your sword fighting and other hobbies, Ireena?
Not particularly. I was for the first couple of days. But it's been a little bit more difficult recently. I haven't had the strength required to raise the blade as the way that I normally would.
Understandable. Would you like to come with a walk? We're going to the barracks so we can re-up on I need some more arrows. Would you like to come with us?
No,
Get some fresh air.
I think I just like to try and get some sleep while there's light out.
Right.
Yeah.
While they're all talking, I'm just kind of like in the back, just taking this all in. Having been under Strahd's control, can I sense or see any
Part of the network.
connection
Make
from
an,
that?
make an insight check. I like this. Yeah.
I believe in you.
You've been in the upside down, you know.
Exactly.
Where's
insight? 15.
15?
Yeah! Woo!
So,
No, there's nothing.
What you couldn't see potentially was Kevin dancing. Les Paul was just leaping for joy at getting to have a whisper.
found a thing I did.
Back to Leaf. Oh, this is a great book.
Amanda, the knives outness of your sweater is great. I don't know if you've seen have you seen the movie? There's
Yeah,
this
it's
whole
a
thing with
solid
like
sweater.
Chris Evans wearing this like
Yes.
tattered fisherman's sweater. Yes.
You're not the first person to say that. So funny story, because I looked it up because I was like, that's a great sweater, and
I saw it in
everyone
theaters
lost.
and I was like, Andy, you need one of those.
That sweater. Yeah. Somebody tweeted that they're like, yeah, I was in the theater and I heard 3 voices gasp, that sweater. And so
I was shook. I was like, oh.
So people were asking Chris Evans, and Chris Evans then asked the costume director, and the costume director was like, it was such a quick, like yes, that I don't remember where we got it.
Probably a thrift store, frankly.
Wait.
Okay.
Conversation wraps up. The food plate is pushed away. She picks up the wine glass and just kind of, it's been a pleasure seeing all of you. I'll give your best to Ismark the next time that he stumbles out of his room. I wish you all the luck.
We may call on you later on if that's all right, but we'll leave you to your rest.
Thank you. And she just kind of gestures to Charles, and he opens up the door and allows her to walk out. And you can see that she holding the glass and trying to focus on doing too many things at once. One of her legs starts to go a little bit, and then just kind of catches herself, and then deep breath, and then makes her way up the stairs.
Hey, how you doing there, buddy? You doing okay? You kind of zoned out for a sec there. You thinking about a cool fish?
I noticed something about her.
Pourquoi?
Can we talk amongst is it?
You're in the dining hall with all the servants around you, and Charles is at the door.
I think we don't want to talk about this yet, but I think I noticed something.
Nah, Chuck's fine. You good, Chuck?
But
That's
how
my
we should
man.
visit with Victor and Stella.
Shall I summon them before you?
If
Would you?
wouldn't
Would you be a dear?
Of course.
Oh,
Will you
that's-
remain in this room, please?
No, but I'm just teasing. We're gonna. That's a joke.
So droll.
I'm gonna leave the room immediately. No, I'm not.
He walks out of the room and shuts the door behind him, and you hear the as he walks up the stairs. You've still got about 3 servants around, but 2 minutes, 3 minutes pass. Series of footsteps coming down, and you do hear a couple of them are a little bit more excited, and you hear a heavy thud at the bottom of the stairs, like somebody's jumped the last 3 or 4 steps. And then the door bangs open, and walking in, you see beaming smiles, Stella and Victor, hand in hand, just walking into the room. And they just kind of look at all of you, and you see Stella just like immediately begin crying. Just so tears of joy, so happy to see all of you again, and then just kind of runs over and one at a time just enraptures all of you in gigantic
We're good
hugs.
people.
Oh, he's not that ugly, Stella. I'm just teasing you.
She was in shock when everything happened
I'm just
originally,
teasing.
so she
You're
didn't
a
really even get to
good-looking
thank
guy.
us.
Right. So it's good to see us looking so happy and healthy and out and about.
Yes, it's been a little different. I'm very happy to be back in this house. And you see that she looks over at Victor, and the two of them just kind of smile at
Does
each
she
other.
have like an engagement ring on or anything?
She doesn't have an engagement ring on, but does have a wrapped, what looks like just iron band, but it's a series of interwoven pieces on her ring finger on her opposite hand. Potential promise ring of some kind.
You know what? I want to do a nice, real quick. From my bag, I want to produce the stack of property deeds I had to the Walker holdings that I took from the house.
Yep.
And to Stella, I just want to be like, hey, so we found these in your mother's residence, and it seems only fitting that you should have them.
You found these?
Yeah.
And she like kind of thumbs through them one at a time. But, wow.
They're in the name of your family, so it only seems fitting that you and call it a engagement gift.
Right, providing you and Victor a start in life.
Well, I suppose you haven't been here in a little while. The family name, at least in my eyes, is Mud. I've taken a different path.
Well, I understand. If you don't need those properties, we can handle them for you.
And she just kind of thumbs through and just kind of...
Are you looking for him?
Or you can take them and make something.
I'm going to make sure these don't fall into the hands of my brothers. I think that's about the best thing that I can do.
Probably wise.
If there is any kind of property in these lands, make sure that it does not fall to anyone who still wants to maintain that accursed name.
Put it to good use for yourselves.
Something good with it.
I shall.
Have you been in touch with your brothers, Stella?
No. Quite happily.
I've heard they're still in town and seen every once in a while.
Yes, hiding in their little rattles.
Family dynamics can be really difficult.
No, they're just pieces of shit.
How is Victor reacting to Stella being so talkative?
She's just chatty, and he's just completely smiling and just beaming at the fact. A very different version of the person that you had encountered twice.
Is he looking more healthy?
There's a real glow coming back to his skin. He started to put a little bit more weight on. You know, he's not...
He's like seeing the sunlight.
It's more so that he's out of his study, right? You remember the whole thing with him was that he was trying to find a way to... he became a wizard, essentially, to figure out a way to help her, or to bring her back, potentially. With her being there, the necessity to do that is no longer there. He's just enjoying life. And he's somebody who now clearly seems to be that way. As much as there is very little sun, so he doesn't really get a tan, there is at least rosy cheeks, and he's definitely put on, a couple of pounds, but is still looking very fit, and just looks overall just better.
I look around to the servants and then try to sort of make eye contact with the rest of the party, and then I just say, I'm Stella and Victor. We were thinking about going to the barracks and seeing if they could sell me any spare arrows. Would you like to join us for a walk? Morning constitutional.
Of course, this is entirely doable. Would you like... Well, I can simply just acquire these arrows for you.
Well, that's probably better. I mean, then we don't got to spend money on it. We could also check out Victor. I've heard so much about this study of yours that we could take a look at. That could be fun.
What?
Sorry, that was a very quick pivot.
I just thought-
Seemingly,
what
the
is the
doctor
situation?
wasn't paying attention to the conversation. I think we'd really like to go for a
Oh, I
walk
know. I'm going to do this.
to the
I
barracks.
just
It's a
want
very
all the
nice
magic
day
stuff.
out.
If you'd like to join us,
Right.
I mean, I wanted to have a fun chat about magic, but that's fine too.
we can chat
I can
about
definitely make this.
magic
Um,
on the walk that we'd like to take.
would this be a private walk?
Doctor, do you have any opinions?
I feel like a kid who was just trying to sneak alcohol past their parents and then just got fully called out. I was thinking that maybe we could, we have some things to discuss magic user to magic user.
Yeah.
Doctor has some
All
questions
right.
for you.
I can accommodate this.
Yeah.
But Stella,
We have some fun properties we want to talk to you about.
I will return. And he just kind of just walks over to her and just kind of like grabs her around their waist and just leans over and kisses her on the side of the cheek. And she just kind of leans back and kisses him as well.
Me too.
And
Professional photo shoot.
he's kind of holding himself a little bit higher now. Essentially, before he was always the like sulking, very much had bad posture, and now he's kind of holding himself to be the little bit higher because he's only about half a head taller than Stella. So it's a little bit tough, and he
You
kind of wants
multi-class
to.
from nerd into boyfriend.
He will, and we're bringing him to his death. So that's going to be fun for us.
I'm
So-
gonna go pee. I can't.
Stella just kind of sitting down and beginning to tuck into to the almost non-eaten breakfast from Ireena's plate. He just kind of looks around at all of you and just kind of gives each of you a nod, and then just a little bit of a follow me motion. He lets you through into a part of the house that you haven't seen before, in and amongst all the cooks, making your way through the kitchen, and eventually out a back door, and then around to the side, which is part of the house that you haven't seen yet. But stepping out, you do eventually come to the substantial walk to get to where the barracks are, and you can see even though it is still fairly early in the morning, there is a decent amount of training happening. Some getting outfitted with their attire for the day, and you've got a good, probably 5-6 minute lazy walk to be able to make it there.
So, Vic, we're putting together a heist.
Putting together a heist.
Yeah, we're making the final preparations to go put a hole in the castle over there. Figured you might be interested in joining up.
I'm in.
We thought.
You
Shut
son
up.
of a bitch!
We're glad to have you.
No amount of words or actions can thank you enough for what you have given back to me. My entire future taken by a woman loyal to this thing.
She was awful. She was not great. She was bad.
At the best of times, she was a bad mother. At the worst, one of the most wretched creatures that resided on these lands.
Takes a lot
Second
for a
most
person-
wretched creature.
For a person to align themselves with something like Strahd and demons.
The sad thing is it doesn't take a lot. It simply takes an offer of power. That was what was offered to her. Clearly in the wake of her dead husband, wanting to maintain some sort of semblance of control. She wanted to ally herself with the thing that would give her that.
Sorry, please.
Speaking of people coming under the influence of somebody else, have you noticed anything different about Ireena? She seems not quite herself, and we're a little concerned about her.
My interactions with the girl have been fairly brief, if at all, for the most part. I mean, I have had the love of my life back for a week. We have not exactly ventured far.
I understand. Has Stella had a chance to have any girl talk or anything like that with her?
She has mentioned a few interactions that the two of them had when she was first brought back, especially. The two of them reconciling the horrific things that they have been through in their pasts. But not in the last few days. She seems to have become more reclusive and barely coming out for meals, just staying in her room. But she is far enough away from us that obviously we don't hear too much.
Yeah, when I was speaking with Ireena, she mentioned about how much she's appreciated speaking with Stella. I'm quite concerned for Ireena and her personal safety without revealing anything. Like, without revealing too much.
She could not have picked a better place to be kept safe inside the village. That is the entire point of the Burgomaster's mansion. Constant guards, 24 hours a day, not having to have visitors after dark determined to prove by the guards. It is very difficult for anything to bother her. I don't understand what would be able to do so.
I think it's through some sort of mental, like some telepathy.
You got it.
Telepathy?
Telepathy, thank you. Or some kind of mind connection, yeah.
I can understand this thought process. Let me assure you, there have been safeguards made to ensure this is not possible. Telepathic links cannot pass through these walls.
That's good to know.
Whatever is bothering her, if you believe it to be happening, it is happening within listening distance. How long has this been happening for?
Well, we've been gone, but seeing her today, she seemed quite out of sorts. I hope you were talking with her longest. Did you say how long Did you say how long this her
3 days. It's been
3 more pages, sorry.
Yeah, let's check up and see what Leaf is doing.
Sipping his tea.
Yeah, another tea. This is a real good book.
Real life Kaylee is jealous of
the
Leaf.
last few days, really. It's been more intense.
That has been when she has reclused herself a little bit more than usual. I mean, at the best of times, she was not the most talkative individual, but still enjoyed being outside. I saw her sparring with a few of the better swordsmen amongst the guards. I wonder what may have happened to cause this. I will take this under advisement.
Would you like an additional eye to take a look at any safeguards you may have crafted?
I'm not sure exactly how capable all of you are. I mean, you did mention the words magic user, but do any of you have any real knowledge of any kind of glyphs, warding, anything such as this?
Oh, sweetheart.
No, this guy's a wizard.
Well, yes, but I can throw a hat in. Also, I want to see what he's got. Steal from him.
He's using his brain. You're using
Go and make a persuasion check.
Big Daddy.
Using your
Don't
big
assume that you're my baby.
Zaddy.
Actually, yeah, your
Big
kitchen's
Zaddy.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fine.
Because I have it written here.
That's a 26.
26? I mean, having a second pair of eyes to look over the work I have done, there's no harm in doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, don't steal my secrets for yourself.
Oh,
of course.
how could I?
Alright, he's gonna insight check that one.
Yes, of course, that's not an issue. I will show you up to the place where I complete my work.
Please.
Speaking, Victor, of making preparations, do you know if there's anywhere in town that we could buy horses, or perhaps if your father would have one he can lend to us?
Anything that you require. It is not exactly hard for me to accommodate this.
We've
Alright.
been on the hunt for things like magical things, like healing potions or things such as this. It was told to us that a lot of those items would have been
Confiscation.
kept by your father.
A few of them, but we're not exactly much of a magical community. I mean, the material that I scraped together from speaking to a few people and acquiring it over years of research is about the best that I can do. Crafting healing potions is not exactly something that we are capable of doing.
Okay.
I will speak to my father and see what is available, but typically things like this are used in dire circumstances. One of the unfortunate circumstances that we find ourselves in is when somebody falls ill to a proper sickness. Medicine cannot seem to help. Some of the doctors are unable to assist them. That tends to be when those potions come in the most handy for a village such as ours.
Would your father have any kind of magical artifacts or weapons that are kept aside?
That I can assure you he does not have. He is a bit of a superstitious man. Essentially, after the Wachters lost their power and his father took control of the village, a lot of those items that were seen as too powerful to be wielded by mortal men were lost. And the stories of where they went, unfortunately, went with them.
Would your father know?
There is a chance that he might. I will ask him, but the stories that he told were always that those items were wielded by the previous burgmaster and anyone loyal to him. Items such as this, when a burgomaster is removed and they want to regain power, there is really only one place that they go. I would imagine that anything left from their control of the village has probably fallen into the castle walls at this point.
You're probably right, but if you feel that it's appropriate and you don't mind asking, it could mean the difference between success and failure.
I will do what I can. That I
We
promise you.
appreciate that.
It is, again, the least that I can do. Especially if I am to be joining you on this quest. I would want to make sure that I am outfitted with the best possible
And we
equipment myself.
That is
do our best to make sure that we take care of his as well.
I was going to ask, I did not want to be very forward about it, but given the nature of the armors that you wear and the weapons that you wield, I would have to believe that there is at least some power among you, beyond what your physical bodies are able to perform.
I would say that there is, but extra reinforcements of that are always welcome when we're up against a foe like the one that we are.
Understood. So, is there anything else? I believe we've slowed our pace as much as we can to avoid
That's
getting
right. We'll send you a message. We'll likely leave crack of dawn soon.
day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow.
Ah, like the movie.
We need to give Leaf enough time to finish the book.
We can
Right.
leave tomorrow. Like,
Right,
I
you can
can
read on the
Yeah,
way.
I can read on
Yeah,
the way.
okay.
We'll be fine.
So we'll be leaving tomorrow.
Should we risk it?
Are we waiting for Victavio?
I don't think we are at this
No,
point.
We
I'm
couldn't
not.
get a hold of him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
he
down.
left us on
He,
red.
yeah, that's Esmeralda said that Rictavio, or sorry, what name are
Yeah,
we supposed to use
Rudolph
up for him?
and
Rudolph.
Richter.
Yeah,
This is all happening in character.
Rudolph Van
No, I'm not
Reindeer.
using my accent. That's how you know it's Kaylee talking and not you. That's how I can get that done.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, but I think that we can leave tomorrow if Leaf is. We can leave tomorrow if Leaf is able to do that.
okay.
Yeah, that's just Doctor. That's
Yeah.
Well, it is a little short notice, but
I know, and I apologize. We're trying to make sure that there is no chance that any of our decisions will be passed along.
ensure that your plans do not leak.
Exactly.
Yes, well, that I can appreciate more than most.
It goes
All
without
right.
saying, but I know you probably share most things with Stella, but perhaps
This one I will not. I will simply tell her that I am
Cigarettes.
venturing out of the walls for a few days. She has seen enough of my capabilities since being returned.
Going up the pub
That's-
for the weekend.
She will not worry too much. So, tomorrow morning,
tomorrow morning.
I shall prepare everything that I can. If I do find anything, I will present it to you then. For the time being, you said you needed arrows, yes?
Arrows and yes. DM, sorry. How many horses do we need? We have how many people? How many people can the wagon take, and then how many horses?
So the
do we need
wagon
on top
can
of that?
hold, it's 6 in the back,
Yeah.
and then 1 driving, so 7.
Okay, so currently we have 7, but if we want to take Victor and Esmeralda and what's his nuts?
Casimir?
Debatable.
No, I'm counting Casimir in the 7.
Esmeralda.
Oh.
Who's the other guy?
Uh,
Vilnius.
Yeah.
That's 3 extra people.
You think?
Esmeralda has a horse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does she?
Yep.
Okay, so 2 extra horses.
Because she rode up on the horse
Yeah.
when
I don't
after
have
you
an
guys blew
idea
up her
of
Or
wagon.
are we
Vilnius, a
taking
horse.
Vilnius?
I don't think we should. I think we're fine. But
Okay.
I mean,
Great. I don't
he
think
did.
we should. He's like,
He did also save Leaf and Die
If he wants to come.
back there. Like, if he wants to come, then I don't. See
I don't think we should
why
count on
stop
him wanting to come. So let's just say 1
Yeah.
extra
Yeah, we
warriors.
can give him a couple.
Also,
goals,
isn't he
something
more of a
like that.
liability with his weak, frantic
mind.
sturdy
Oh, I
capness?
forgot. Of course, he's far too weak-willed, Les.
That's right.
Yes,
Right,
we need the strong
It seems that we
around.
just need
That's right.
1 extra horse.
That's right.
Or
That's
an
This
extra
is
rider.
not so So
You'll need us to run.
if there's one extra horse, I assume you're taking into account that I will be providing my own horse. You need one more.
Oh, no. If you have a mount that you're comfortable with,
I do.
that should work. But
Well, I wouldn't say comfortable, but I have a mount.
well, provide an extra horse that any one of us can ride. We do have a wagon, so yourself or somebody. We can figure out the arrangements, but usually there's a few of us who are more comfortable with the wilderness who are riding or outside the wagon.
I will acquire two. One for myself and one as an extra, and perhaps that will ease the load from whatever traveling arrangement you already have.
Perfect. That would
Alright.
be helpful.
There you go. Arrows as well.
That would
How
be much
many would you like?
appreciated.
All of them.
A few dozen.
A few dozen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Crossbow bullets as well would be
Bolts.
useful.
If they could be magical in any way, that would also be very helpful.
I mean, I don't think those are quite rare in this land.
If I had more time to prepare, there may be something that I could do, but you would be looking at several weeks.
No, that's all right.
We'll take what we can get.
Can you maybe stock us up with a couple, maybe like a dozen flasks of oil?
Standard oil.
Yeah, just regular old oil.
It's a little bit on the difficult side to acquire, but I will do my best.
Appreciate it.
I'm sure this stockyard will have access to this.
Yeah,
for
we can
fire
go to the
purposes.
stockyard.
Oil there.
So
That's not what fires do.
a few dozen
Yeah,
oil,
I'm
a
going
few
with
dozen
it.
bolts, a few dozen arrows,
Yeah.
2 horses, and some oil.
Yeah.
That
And
is
that,
really all you require.
Sounds
Well,
like Friday night to
That
me.
conversation with your father.
Well, that aside, I unfortunately do not believe there will be any fruition from that. But given the amount of time you have spent within our walls, I assume you have met the merchant.
Carl.
We prefer to call him the merchant.
Wow, this guy's
It's much
fun.
more spooky, certainly.
Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
We were
Yes,
not
yes.
given that moniker.
We were not. We were just
You were
told
not.
it's Carl.
No, Les has been calling him Carly this entire time.
That's right. It's my
Carly
friend Carl.
Ray.
And then we called him maybe.
Well, that's funny because I did not even know
Oh
that his
my
name was Carl.
god!
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Well, you
do
know.
we go to gamer
It's
tag?
too much.
We get around.
All right. Anyway,
Do we need anything?
I
else?
will return. And he disappears off, and you see him flag down a few of the guards, and they very attentively hustle over to him,
boss
sheathing
man.
their swords. Boss man's son, even scarier.
yeah.
And he just kind of sends them off, and they just vanish off into different parts, and then eventually come back with 1 horse because he's going to be keeping 1 for himself, and then 3 full quivers each. 36 arrows per quiver
Yeah.
and 36 bolts per quiver.
Yeah.
So you're given 108 of each.
Hello.
But they are full quivers, so
Yeah.
it's kind of up to you to decide if you just want to take the 36 arrows out of the quiver or if you just want to take them and store them somewhere. It's kind of up to you.
For now, we'll just take them.
Take them? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
you-
add them in with my other ones.
There you go.
We can sell the quivers later.
Yeah, so a full quiver is 36.
Full
Sorry,
mark.
full quiver is 48. These ones are a little bit on the smaller side.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
you could take 4 dozen if you wanted to, and then just leave them with the rest. It's up to you.
All right.
But the 1 horse is also presented to you. Decent riding horse, definitely not on the war horse side. Looks to be a fairly mature horse, definitely easy to handle as you begin to make your way out. The oil, a little bit on the tougher side. They ask for a couple of hours to
That's
be able to
okay.
see if they can track that down.
Yeah, take your time. We're gonna be here all night.
All
Take
right.
your waitress.
So, making your way out from there, horse, arrows, bolts in tow. Where would you like to go next?
Carl.
Carl's. And then
Carl.
as
We're
we're going,
gonna let Leaf know we're going to
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Carl's.
pop Rick over.
I will say on the way out, he just pulls you, Doctor, off to the side. And
Yeah.
if you have 2 minutes while your friends are making their way back, if you would like to stay behind, I can show you what is going on with these defenses I have set
Yeah,
up.
let's do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna pop off for a bit, guys.
and as they leave, I want to tell them.
Yeah.
When we're-
Yeah. So, as he's leading you away, Les.
Yeah. So
Are we within earshot of anyone
No,
else?
I think we
you're
would've
walking.
huddled up.
You're huddled
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You've got the horse. You're walking back along the path to get to the main road. You're well away from everybody.
I am leaving Rick with the
Also,
party.
what's the name of this horse?
Yeah, I
There's
was
no,
gonna say.
there's no horse.
I wanna
There is no name, I should say.
make friends with the horse.
you can name it.
What color is it?
Buttercup.
It's kind of like a tawny
What
brown.
color is the horse?
Pepperoni eats.
Peely.
Paprika.
Ooh, yeah.
Like cinnamon and paprika.
Check on Kinfrey. I'm into
It's a
it.
good one. Yeah,
Marigold is like,
Less.
All right. So, as we're all kind of, making
Yeah.
sure we're not earshot everybody, I think I noticed something back there in that house with Ireena.
Yeah?
You know, we don't like to mention about the last fight with Strahd, but one good thing did come out of that fight, and that I know what it's like to be controlled by him. And as I stared at Ireena, I got the sense that she was not under his control.
Not under his control?
The claw marks, you have to be, for the spell to work, you have to be directly in eyesight, very close by for any kind of spell like that to work.
Did she tell you anything significant, Hope?
She insinuated that she's why didn't I make this?
I think what she's trying to do is the scratching marks, the pressure cooker going on in her brain is Strahd trying to draw her out of the house so that he can control her.
Yeah, she said that she's struggling to. Well, things can't get in, is one of the things that she said. But I wonder if it could perhaps be.
I think in that house it probably is the safest place for her. It's got spell safe guards. Strahd can't get in. She's clearly not trying to leave. I think if she wanted to leave, she very much could. I think that there's some sort of entity or something trying to get her to leave, and that's what she's resisting.
Yeah, she said the only thing that could help with her suffering was basically she wants us to kill Strahd.
No, that's number one on the to-do list.
I didn't want to say that that's what we were planning, but
Just in case. It was very wise of you, Hope. I mean, I think that we should probably still treat her as an unknown. As far as sharing plans, we did find in her room some evidence of some mental unrest. Claw marks on the inside, and I show them the paper that this was hidden in a drawer, so it's clear that she's unraveling but trying to remind herself of who she is. So one of the things we were wondering is that if she has Tatiana's soul, is she able to have still a personality of Ireena, or is she just Tatiana reborn over again? But this seems like that perhaps she actually really does want to be free of Strahd.
I think we just gotta make that wish come true.
yeah, is there anyone that we'll have met who could possibly tell us whether that's possible for a soul to be doing that?
What about, I mean, Leaves a cleric, maybe he would have some insight.
Because I did wonder if I did try to think of like offering like if there was something we could do to ease Ireena's mind, like we helped with Stella, the cure madness.
That was, I mean, I think they're slightly different in terms of what's happening to her.
I agree that it's definitely a state of mental unrest that she's experiencing. She said that every time she closes her eyes, she hears his voice.
I think that probably she's right. The best thing we can do is just free her of that monster.
I agree. I think at this point we can not necessarily trust her with plans, but I think we can trust that she's doing the best she can to stay free of him.
Do we leave her here? Should we try and take her with us? What do we do?
I think we should leave her here. It's the safest place for her.
I don't think taking her with us is going to be
They're clearly
safe.
the house is clearly aware that, you know, that she's not safe. They have safeguards. There's tons of guards in the house. She's not under his control.
And if he can't see her, he can't glamour. He
That
can't
being
use
said,
his.
Are we? I know you're not going to look this hope, but I'm going to say it anyways. Are we taking the use her as bait
What?
option off the table?
What?
I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just asking about
When
it.
was this on the table?
I just think that it was something that should be discussed.
I immediately think this is end of discussion and that it doesn't happen. I think that's incredibly reckless to do that to a person's life.
I think
I'm
that
with Hope on this.
it's not ideal, but what it does is gets us victory over Strahd, and
Yes, but realistically, how is that even going to work? Are we just gonna like tie her up and carry her over our shoulder?
I know
and
I
run
don't
around
have a
in
full blown
Ravencroft?
plan. I'm just asking.
I just don't know.
Well,
if it's even possible.
It's an immediate no from me. And also, is Leaf, Rick's tooting along with us, isn't
hanging
he?
out.
So,
I think we already sent him back to tell Leaf to meet us.
yeah, I was gonna say, is Leaf on his way, Rick?
How long have I been? Is this like a...
With the amount of time that was there, the conversations, everything, I'd say it'd be in about another 2 hours.
Alright, cool. Cool. Then in that case, yeah, I'll need to catch up with them.
Okay. So, leading upstairs, you're eventually led to a fairly small workshop, essentially something that looks like it's been actively hidden. A series of books and everything, and then a couple of specific, very, very fine pieces of parchment and gold inks. You don't actually really recognize this. Actually, no, you do.
Yeah, I can read all writing.
No, it's not. It's not the writing. It's the manner in which. It's the manner in which they're written.
Oh.
So sassy.
It's with a
Yeah, can read already.
It's very similar to what you've seen Casimir open his book
Oh, okay.
and see what's in there, and then the one interaction that you had where you saw Vilnius use his. Essentially written mage's spells. And he kind of shows you a little bit, and you understand the words. A lot of the spells themselves you don't really understand because the naturing of the glyphs
Sure.
and the way that the spells are written, and then the rituals required of them kind of passes over a lot of what your knowledge is. But he kind of goes through and shows you bit by bit on each one. Just go and make a quick Arcana check for me.
Okay, that'll do. Where's my Arcana? That's 26.
26?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we've seen these before. These are essentially warding glyphs.
Yeah.
So they get placed somewhere, and then if a creature passes within a certain distance, the spell is triggered. But these ones seem to be permanent. And essentially, they seem to be almost custom created by him. And what they seem to be is glyphs of mind shielding. So the entire house appears to be protected against divination magic and against scrying and against any kind of telepathic communication. It's a very advanced thing that clearly took years to be able to do, but it was something that was put in place, and he kind of walks you around and points out very specific instances of where these glyphs have been placed, and you see them actually fit into walls and things like that.
From what we know, or I guess what I know of Strahd, would this stop him?
This is the interesting thing. None of you have ever had an interaction with Strahd where he spoke into your mind. He always just spoke to you. Well, he still just spoke to you.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
So it's an interesting thought. It's incredibly powerful, useful, and you're like, oh shit. Well, we never would have been able to talk to or figure out what the hell was going on inside here. The one interaction that you had was with Rick when he actually flew in.
Why Rick pooped.
It didn't explain why Rick poofed, but it was something where you lost the communication with him as soon as he passed within those walls. And that was because your telepathic connection to him was severed as soon as he passed within those glyphs.
I see.
He was then dispatched inside, but that was why you didn't see what happened.
Okay.
So it's a very interesting thing, and in your experience looking back on that, you're like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Wow, okay, this is legit magic. So
Anything of like anything catch my eye in the workshop? Anything particularly useful for the group or for the mission?
not particularly, because all the research and all the work that's been done by him is on the wizard side. If there was a wizard amongst your group, definitely.
Casimir.
Yeah, but none of you have any idea how that works. I mean, you haven't talked to him about what the nature of that is, how he acquires anything like that. Yeah. So
we're leaving Casimir in the wagon.
It's a conversation that could be had between the two of them.
Yeah.
But it would not be something that any of you would particularly take note of. So.
All right.
Can I put an air freshener in?
So, with that, he would then let you head off, and you would easily be able to truck
Yeah, I'll
back
catch back up.
and catch back up with everybody. So,
I relay
Alright.
back the info about Ireena to
sounds good.
Doctor.
Fascinating. That's
Okay.
all I say.
Cool.
So,
Then I
on
go
from
into my
there,
books.
Curious, very curious.
where to next?
Old Carly.
Carl.
Carly Ray Jepson.
Carl? All right. So you make your way a little bit north, following along the main road, and then eventually cutting around the side of the house. You find the familiar coin slot at the back of the home.
Let's drop 5 gold in that bad boy.
Yeah.
Carly!
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I
You
showed
hear
up
the
just in time for this.
of all the coins
What
rolling
is
down,
this?
and then eventually just a loud thud, which you're used to. Walking back around to the front of the house, the door seems to be inset a little bit, and you are allowed to make your way in, closing the door behind you as it reseals. It's been a minute since any of you come around this place.
Hey,
We're here to see the
Carl!
Somebody finally told you my real fucking name.
Yeah, Carl.
Fuck you. What do you want?
I'm gonna reach into my bag and take out.
Well, hang on. You all look real different.
Hey.
Well, you know.
You got some new fucking goodies.
We got some work to
Where
do.
did you
Yeah?
find these?
Here and there.
That spear? Is that just a hilt of us? The fuck? Alright. That butt.
Did you say that butt?
That
Bow.
bow.
That juicy doper.
I'm sorry. I
That
genuinely
hilt,
said-
that
the
spear,
hiltless-
that butt.
That
The
mud pie
hiltless
factory.
sword.
Elliot does have a great caboose, just so everyone's aware.
Oh, you have to. I imagine kind of the way
I
that
feel
you.
Our whole group has good butts.
I'm gonna reach into the
You
bag
pop
and
from Les.
pull out a bottle of one of the purple great
just
mash.
Okay.
That I have from the winery. I have two. So I'm gonna take it out and be
Purple
like,
grape mash. That's the, like, shitty wine.
is it the shitty wine?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the good one.
No.
Oh, well.
The good one is Champagne de la Stomp.
There's no
Right.
Yeah, there's
Hey,
none of that.
hey, Carl, is this of any use to you?
What is it? Oh.
Is this a set of pipes? What does it do? Or do you give him the page out of the book?
I'll show him the page out for.
Huh. That's a funny fucking item. That's kind of neat, actually.
None of us are musically inclined, so.
Now? Oh, shit. Alright. Well, yeah, I could add it to the collection. I mean, it's not exactly worth a pretty penny, but it'd be at least,
Well, we kind of
something.
How much
wanted
do
to
you have
come.
to pool to get the carpet,
No,
y'all?
we wanted to come by because we wanted to give you a heads up, since we're such good friends. That
Sure.
we're going against Ravenloft within the next few days.
This
We don't
guy.
trust him.
No,
Really?
guys, you know what? Les is a
And
smart, strong
your
boy.
He's
That's
a
it.
strong,
items.
independent Triton who don't need
your
a man.
items and wares have been useful for us the whole time we've been here, and I know how
I believe
protective
that.
you are of them. But in a few days' time, they're not gonna matter at all. You're gonna want real money, because we're gonna free this place very, very soon.
What do you mean real money?
Sword Coast money.
What the fuck is a sword coast?
I just open up my
Great
bag.
place.
I open up my bag of all the silver
Oh,
pieces,
never been, that's
diamonds,
crazy.
gems, basically all like the treasure hoard that I have from back in that place.
And you just kind of like, you know, you take a couple of the pieces out and pass them over to him. He just like, what is this fake shit?
Beyond this realm, that is the currency that's going to be very valuable, and I know you're a man who likes things of value. When this realm is freed, the stupid Strahd bucks are going to be worth nothing.
Well, we don't know.
Actually, we don't.
That is going to be worth something.
Actually, collector's
Strahd money
items.
is just like Monopoly money.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage because he
Oh.
has no idea what you're talking about.
Do we have any
He has no clue what you're talking about. You're literally trying to give him random gold coins for stuff.
Well, I'm trying to convince them that like
No, yeah,
we're
that it's going to
free
be
this
worth
place.
something. You're trying to convince him that you're going to kill Strahd, free the place, and this is worth something.
Yes.
Disadvantage.
Extra disadvantage?
Nat 20 and a 3.
So,
There it
so
is.
what is that with your bonuses? I think it's like
Voice
6 or
crack.
something. Persuasion.
Yeah, that's a 4.
4. He just kind of like looks at you and just.
It's from like a kid's game or something. This
No,
car.
it's-
Yeah,
There
you
we
caught
were.
him, Carl. You caught him.
You, first time we were here, you expressed that you understood that there was people brought to this land.
Yeah, that I understand. I don't know where the fuck they came from.
They come from where we're from. And it's a bigger place than here.
Okay.
Anyways, Carl,
Carl,
And
buddy,
we-
those pipes. What are we talking for this?
I don't think this
Well, the pipes, I mean, they're nice. I mean, I don't even know. It's something that, like, I could maybe just give you a coin for. There's nothing really useful about them, per se. It's just kind of a cool, creepy fucking thing.
It is pretty creepy.
Do we have anything else we can batch in with that? I don't have anything
Yeah.
else I can give up right
That's-
now.
What's on the wall again? Just what I'm looking
Magic
at.
carpet.
There's just carpet and that's it. Like,
No, so there's the carpet, which you basically know that
No
like
one's-
you're not
You're
getting.
not using
Unless we come back here and murder him.
Yeah, now we're talking.
So you have given him a couple of spell scrolls in the past. So he's got a couple of spell scrolls that you could trade back from him if you wanted to.
They were useful to us, I don't think, at this point.
He's got the gloves of missile snaring.
That would have been, that'd be,
He's got a set of bracers of defense.
those would be good.
You know what? If we just like kidnap him,
What are we?
like
like
if we
kidnapping.
just like tie him up and just say like, hey guys, sorry, we need these items to like free this land. We don't
So-
kill him,
Like
but we
this
just
plan
like
shit.
Remember
put him
also,
in a closet.
so there's also the stuff that you've already given him. So the gauntlets, which
Right.
make somebody's strength score just 19.
yeah.
Yeah, that seems.
Here's the thing, for the
Use
greater
that
good,
rope.
why don't we just kidnap him and throw him in a closet and be like, we're taking your things because we're gonna free this
We
land.
don't necessarily know his defense.
If
Okay,
you wanna do
you're
that,
in the room
fine,
with
yeah.
him
Well,
right
I'm
now.
not saying this in character. I'm saying this just.
Yeah, but
No, I know,
that's-
but you can't do that.
You can't do that.
We
Why
have
not?
no.
All of a sudden,
Because you
Over-
need the
over-
ability to be able to have a
Where is
conversation
this
with the
coming
people.
from?
Guys,
Right.
does anyone have anything else that we can use to maybe get those guns?
Like if you want to do that, you're just you do it, but you can't
No,
like.
stuff
Yeah,
that
buddy.
What do you
That's
mean?
like 100% metagaming of
Yeah.
like we could just throw him in a thing, but, like
Yeah,
standing
we
next
gotta,
to
we
him.
gotta talk about it.
Yeah, you gotta like
Right.
this is something you gotta talk
Laz would
about.
yell and be like, "Guard, well, just go
Hey.
back, Carl."
3 weeks ago, I would have just done it, but everyone's so mad when I just
Well,
do the
hey,
other.
dude,
To be fair, I supported your plan.
take out the chunk of obsidian that I like
Like you.
Ah, now that's
got
actually
hope
worth
to help.
something.
Oh yeah, actually, that's a
With-
fair point. I'm gonna pull out
Right.
the chunk of amber I got.
Amber's a little easier to find, but
I'll call it the chunk of
obsidian.
dirt I
Right,
grabbed
obsidian's
on the
good
way.
for.
And it's like I'm like
spellcasting.
very delicately holding it in my very torn up, beautifully embroidered cloak.
Are you bringing-
All right. What's the weight on that?
I know, I was wondering.
It's quite heavy. It's large.
I think it was.
you wrote it down.
I think yeah, I thought you wrote it down. I thought
No,
I
I
gave you.
didn't
I'll
write
read
it down. I'm sorry. Oh, actually, you know what? It's probably in my notes.
It was like 10
Yeah.
or 15 pounds or something.
It was more than that.
I think it was more. I think it was like 25 pounds.
I'm pretty good at Halo.
Rising.
I just almost poured my
Urge
food
to
into
kick
like
out.
Halo.
You follow your own path, Les Boss. I believe.
But
in
I
you.
am
You
gonna
can
add some
control.
other items to the
Mhm,
table.
Yeah, I am.
Um,
Starting to get it.
I have 5 javelins that I've never used.
I don't know.
I mean, he's
I
not
don't think I
particularly
did. I know.
interested in generic items.
Yeah, I don't think he wants regular
those
stuff.
are easy to find.
Yeah, and I have my old longsword.
He's just behind a desk,
If
right?
it's not magic.
No, he's like walking around the room
I
with
didn't
you.
write it down.
You're essentially in his home. It's just that there's
Yeah.
cool stuff on the walls, right? Like instead of art pieces, he's got what is a flying carpet.
I think he said 50 pounds.
No, that would be way
Because it was
too
no,
heavy.
because there was a
It was-
discussion about how much I could carry
Yeah.
whilst also carrying this.
I would say I would have said at most 25 pounds because
Okay, we'll go
because
with
of
that then.
because
No,
of the
we'll go with that.
yeah because of the nature of obsidian and how sharp it is. 50 pounds of razor sharp
It would
obsidian.
actually
Like-
tear through your pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just cut through everything.
Okay.
25 is pushing it. So
well,
we'll
I
say
put it
25.
in the back of the
I believe in you. You do you, man.
the cart.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have brought it knowing.
But even still,
this.
carrying 50 pounds of
Yeah.
obsidian, like the ability for
Okay.
your finger to slip and your
25.
hands just get cut off.
No, I trust.
So 25
you would know
pounds.
better than I did.
So 25 pounds of obsidian is worth a fair bit. It's like,
I mean, straight across for the gloves if you want them.
Let me talk with the group and see what.
Take your time. I do have all these other things you've given back to me over the time, by the way. If you found anything more interesting, of course.
Well, how about the, that's what I'm thinking. How about the pipes and the obsidian for the gauntlets?
That we sold him. DM, sorry.
Yep.
Part of the reason we sold the gauntlets was because could you wear them with regular armor, or were they?
Yeah. They just replace the gauntlets that are on the armor.
Oh, okay. I remember that they were.
So that would be good for either.
No, it's
Set of
that
armor.
you can't get. So essentially, like, think of it the way that we play any video games. You can put one thing on your
Yeah.
hands,
Yeah.
right? You can't have gloves and gauntlets.
And
Double glove.
if you could put a number on
Do
it,
that.
Les and Hope, what are your strength scores?
Just out of
Well, they
curiosity.
both go to 19.
We both are at 19, I believe.
That's
Right?
why
I'm
we
at
why we
16.
sold them. Was
Yeah,
because-
Celeste is at
Strength?
16.
16.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Why the get the fucking
well,
gauntlet?
Yeah,
that's what
let's
I'm
get
saying,
those
yeah.
on
It's
you.
a +1 to all your attack rolls and
Mario?
all your damage rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how does that sound
milk
for you?
toast, dude.
The pipes and that for the gauntlets.
Yeah.
It's just a slightly upgraded gloves. I do that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What do you
How
say?
much? With
Take the gauntlets and then throw them
with
out the
the
window.
with the obsidian, what did I like remember? Because I did a history roll or like an intelligence roll to see like how much I thought it would be worth.
Oh, right. Obsidian, typically a pound of obsidian is worth. I gotta remember the numbers.
Platinum.
20. No. 200 gold pieces.
Actually, that we just gave
Oh,
them the
so that's
numbers.
a lot.
Yeah. That's
So it's
That is
roughly
very
worth
much
about 5,000 gold.
Right.
I think that's fair for a.
No, I think you picked up
We
more.
want both.
To be fair, just this is the thing that we haven't really experienced because there hasn't been a way to do it. Crafting magical items takes time and money. And an average magical item takes between 3,000 and 5,000 gold pieces worth of time and money to make. So the gloves are an average magical item. The gauntlets are a substantially harder magical item to
Yeah.
make. They would be worth probably closer to 7,000 to 10,000
Okay.
gold.
Yeah. So that's
So
fair.
it's pretty fair. Like, he's somebody who doesn't bullshit. Like, you're there for a reason. He knows that what he has is interesting. What you have is also interesting.
Right. It's
So-
more about like piece for piece what works because in this world the resources are scarce.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, we can hold on to a 25-pound hunk of obsidian until we get back to the Sword Coast,
I
where we
mean-
can use it to beef less up.
I think that what I said earlier to Victor is accurate. Is that anything at this point can mean success or failure.
Would you like that, buddy? You
Throw
want to
that
get stronger?
25-pound thing.
I'm always
But
down for
is
that.
it you're all right with that because it would mean something.
So the only
for
thing to
us.
remember here as well is
Whereas-
the gauntlets are attunement. So
Yeah,
you have to make sure that you've only got 3.
I don't have any items on me. I only have this. I don't have any magical things on me.
Spear.
Yeah, you do.
And
You've
the
got-
spear.
You've got
That's
the ring. You've got the.
it. Oh, the ring. It's just the ring of regeneration is like.
Yeah, but you probably have to attune to it, right?
Yeah.
Just gotta put
It'll
it
say
on.
on the cards
Yeah.
whatever you're
What-
attuned to.
what-
So,
But I don't need to wear it because it's not even that
yeah.
useful.
So
It's
just
for,
check
like,
whatever
Wait,
you
why
have
don't
that's
you give it
attunement
to me?
required.
Why
Give it to
haven't you
someone
got
else,
it
then.
on
I
then?
can. We're talking. Here.
I mean, like all these conversations. This is the time to have it,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
prepping for the final battle,
We talked
figuring
about
out
that a
who
little
needs
bit
what.
in chat too.
Yeah.
That's why I gave Allura the.
So
Yeah, so I had the ring of regeneration, but it basically like heals you as you're like.
yeah, so that's one.
Wait,
What
you
else are
haven't
you
been
attuned
using
to?
that?
Well, it's been like in between combat. It's like
Yeah, it's
You know.
it's something where like when you
after,
take a
after
short
combat,
rest,
it's
you
like
get a whole
we've
bunch of
rested and
points.
I'm healed, so it's like
So you got the ring.
it's not the most
To be
useful
honest, this
thing.
really isn't.
That's it really. I mean, I have the rod.
I can
I have the
Well, no, there's a thing at the top. It'll say attunement required.
yeah.
So-
That's the only thing. Oh,
No.
the spears are attunement
Okay,
and the ring.
the spear and the ring. Those are the
Yeah.
only two.
Keep that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're keeping it.
Oh yeah, the mithril armor is not attunement.
Okay.
We can
And
trade
do you
that.
still have a trident or no?
No, you traded it.
No.
Yeah, you got your
Yeah,
fancy
you
little
should
pokey.
tune to it.
Yeah.
I can attune to this. I've got two
So
things.
yeah, you would be able to do that if you wanted to give him the obsidian and the pipes. He would give you the gauntlets for those.
Any chance you'd throw in a couple extra identification pages with that?
Well, I mean, you're buying the book, so I can't just throw in a single page.
I suppose that's fair. How what other books you got? How many more pages you got in that guy?
So one book,
I think it's got like 4 pages left in it. I
Yeah,
think.
it was
It did
not
not-
a lot.
It was not many.
Yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 pages. I'll say 4.
Okay.
I think we need to take that with us.
I think
Likely.
I mean, I couldn't throw that in. You'd have to give me something in exchange for
Yeah,
it.
we could do that.
I imagine so.
It's worth about 400 gold pieces. Like I said, those ones you can just buy off me. You got 400 gold.
Yeah, just give him 400.
With grape loot, we have 398.
Oh, I'll toss in the other
Okay.
2. Yeah, that's fine.
We might as well burn through a Barovian gold now. Like, if
Yeah.
you're gonna do us
Yeah.
any good.
That's
We're
fine.
exiting through
Oh yeah,
the
we
gift
do
shop.
have
Yeah.
we do have 50 platinum still. I
Oh
think,
yeah,
so.
just do that then.
Okay.
Give him some.
Of
platinum.
like Barovia?
Oh no, wait,
or
sorry.
is
We
that
have 6 platinum, Barovian platinum, not 50.
That's 60 gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah, let's do that.
was
And let's do the
enough
gold.
for-
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's enough. Okay. So yeah, so you pass that over.
Cool.
So
I'm
we
gonna add
should
those
have
pages to our
How many
5.
push-ups can
50.
you do now?
58 gold pieces left of Strahd gold. And that's it.
58
Starbucks.
gold pieces? That's it?
We're all just getting mints and shit
Excluding
at
the.
the end.
That's
Using
you,
the
yeah. You give the
platinum?
platinum and
So-
340.
So the gold we have is
I mean,
Barovia
I like
gold. It's not
that.
sword
We've
gold.
We've got both.
Yeah.
You got both.
That's a
We have a lot of
So
But
the,
we know
loot
what's what.
that was in the Ember Temple is Barovian gold.
Yeah, but we
Oh,
have.
sorry. Is
Sword first.
well, it's not Sword Coast, but it's
Or yeah.
a predate to what is now the Sword
It's not
Coast.
Strahd bucks.
Correct. It's
Yeah.
it's essentially worth its weight in gold, whereas the coinage is a set currency.
Yeah.
So you have to melt that down and figure out exactly what it's worth.
It's an antique. At least if we get back to the Sword Coast, then people will
We gotta
recognize
look
it
at
for
it.
what
We
it
gotta
is.
look
he still has the glove of missile snaring.
He still has the. Okay, so I'll read out all of what he's
Thank
got.
you.
Yeah.
So he has a protection from fiends spell scroll.
Can I have a little look at the actual detail of some of these cards, or is that a no?
I think
Some of
that
them.
would be a no. Like, unless he's going to explain it to us.
We
Well,
traded
if we
some of
had
them.
them already, just
We
we
haven't
might
had that
have.
one, I don't think.
No,
Right.
No.
but just the ones that we have had. Could I have a little glimpse at if
Sure.
that's allowed?
A little looky look. Little peeky blind.
Okay, so these are the ones that you have traded him, and I'll do the spell scrolls as well because you can kind of figure out what those are because Leaf, I'm pretty sure you can cast all of these. So those are the 5 that you can look at.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to look at those? Oh.
Are we good with the deal for the gloves and the
Yep.
obsidian?
So the gloves are in the
or
included
the,
in
not the gloves, the
I'm
gauntlets.
squatted in the corner reading.
Sorry.
The gauntlets.
Yeah, the gauntlets. The gauntlets are included in that,
Oh.
so you can.
That's freaking brought me up for this.
When you happen across
You
those
said you wanted to
gauntlets,
come.
I
do you
thought I
mind to
did.
give
Can I-
Shanks?
Didn't realize this would be so angsty.
Okay. I
While
feel like the
Carl
only thing
is-
worth is the gauntlet.
Pulling the thing, like, you know,
Am I-
looking through
Ta-da!
myself.
That's
Can I go
buddy.
over it and look
Then
at
you can punch
the
Strahd even harder in
carpet?
the face if
Sure.
you
I'm gonna
want.
punch him so
To
hard
see if
that
it's
man-
like-
Probably you will.
Yeah.
trapped?
See if it's trapped. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, go ahead and make a investigation check.
Sorry, what were we checking?
What's happening?
Looking at the carpet to figure out if it's trapped.
Oh.
Oh, we're about to whole new world this shit. A whole new
Ouch.
campaign.
We didn't tell Victor we were
I
setting up
don't
for a heist.
think that. 18.
18.
It's
Looking
a-
around at it, figuring out how it's hung onto the wall, and just kind of like testing one of the edges a little bit. It doesn't appear to be trapped, but it is definitely mounted.
Okay, what do you mean by mounted?
Mounted as in it's in a plexiglass case, essentially on
Okay.
the wall. It's in a glass case that is
Okay.
mounted onto
Okay.
the wall. So you'd have
Cool.
to shatter the glass to
Cool.
pull it out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So I can't like. Okay.
Can't switch it out
So-
with that other red movement.
So yeah, so the more important items that are remaining are the spell scrolls, protection from fiends, protection from poison, and spiritual weapon. He's got the bracers of defense, which are +2 to AC while you are wearing no armor and using no shield.
Sorry.
Gloves of swimming and climbing. While wearing these, climbing and swimming don't cost you extra movement, and you gain a bonus to athletics checks to made to climb or swim.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And the gloves of missile snaring,
Right.
which is as a reaction, you can essentially try to catch an arrow or a bolt or something, and you reduce the damage. And if you reduce it to 0, you actually fully catch it, and you can like add it to your inventory.
Do the gloves of missile snaring require attunement?
They do.
Does the
Are you attuned?
the other
I have 3,
flip
The
thing?
bracers require attunement. The gloves require attunement.
and they're all things that I'd want to have more than that. So.
The swimming and climbing do
I've
not.
got one slot.
And the
open.
trident, the less traded in, the just +1
So
trident,
potentially-
also does not.
Like either the climbing thing,
So if I'm 19 strength,
Or-
what's my plus then?
+4.
the
+4.
Missile snaring?
for
That's
you,
You gotta add
missile
that on
snaring,
all
and
your
then
shit.
I take something else.
Yeah.
So or something along those
Fucking
lines.
strength of 60 in this entire time.
I can't believe that.
Now you can suplex vampires.
Yeah, I'm okay. I think I haven't needed that more than the stuff that I have currently has been
Okay.
useful.
Okay.
I've got
That's how I feel about that.
Okay.
The climbing thing could be really good for you, though.
I mean, yeah, Rick told me
After
that.
that.
When
Yeah, could it?
I mean, you could also use them to just climb up the Barovia guy
Well, I mean,
thing.
they're
Building castle. That's the one we're going for.
Ravenloft.
That's the one.
It doesn't mean we can climb everything, right? We're
Are we sure we don't want to just like?
No, you just have a +5 bonus to whatever your roll is.
Yeah.
So
But it would. The major thing is that climbing and swimming no longer cost you extra
Yeah.
movement.
Oh. So you're
Which
like
could-
swimming
could be
would be
helpful.
Adam West scaling a building.
Yeah.
And the most attuned items one can have is free.
3.
Sweet.
Unless you've got.
trays.
Yeah, there is
Special
one.
rings.
There's one item. Or there's one ring that allows you to attune to one additional.
Yeah, but you have to attune to the ring.
DM,
Yes.
is there a way to look at the carpet to see if it's fake?
Sure. Make an Arcana check.
I have a feeling that thing is fake, and he's
I don't
gonna
think
use
so.
like hawking it.
If you're just talking it, you'd have a more
Ooh,
available.
that's
do
a
we wanna,
one.
Do we
That's
want
a
to
one.
threaten it?
Is it actually a one?
It's a fuck.
No, I mean on your.
With your
No,
stuff.
Arcana? I don't think I have Arcana. Yeah, 0.
so it's a
Literally
one. That thing is fucking flying carpet. You know, you in your soul, you know that is a flying fucking carpet.
Just have a feeling like having that thing there. It's so powerful and shit. I feel like I don't know. I have a feeling like it's just a big ruse.
Les, did you want to stay and talk to Carl while we left?
Thinking about it.
Do we want to try to threaten him to just
Yep.
give us all this stuff?
Or one thing in particular. Sure. I'll back you up.
Yeah.
Or anybody who wants to do it.
You know, I think I'm gonna go outside for a smoke. I'll make sure.
May I join you,
What
Doctor,
are-
for some fresh air?
So I'm just
Yeah.
taking a look. What's going on?
Oh, well, I'm gonna pop out just to hang out.
Yeah, I'm good to read.
Just
Let's
see
go.
what's going on in the alleyway there. I'm gonna wink at him like,
Is he trying to be subtle? Is the doctor trying to hide that?
that's just me being a jackass.
Because I'm like, I don't know how Hope would react to that. So
No,
like,
Hope, come on, let's go hang out outside. Let's go talk about our feelings.
I do
Our
have a lot of
beefies.
feelings.
I bet. Oh boy. We're gonna go. You guys, you're fine.
The lighting in here's shit. I'm gonna go read inside.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going, I guess.
Right, yeah.
No, you guys can hang out. I mean, Les wanted to talk to Carl, right? You want to talk to Carl, buddy?
Do you know what? Yeah, what was?
Are we?
The lawful characters all go outside.
Well, led by me.
I'm
Because
still
I
not
see what's
lawful.
I'm
going
like
on.
one of 2 good characters in this whole
And
campaign.
you're the one who wants to threaten the guy, so go nuts. I'm
I was asking if we as a group
Yeah, I
were
don't
doing
know how
this. This is
threatening
not
Allura
the
and
2 of
Link
us
are.
together
And
doing
Les.
this. The whole point is that we are.
So I,
Alright, let's
I think
go.
that you should give us the stuff on the wall there. I'm sorry, we'll leave.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just removing any, moralistic obligations you might have to deal with.
Hope's morals are more about individual people being hurt than stuff.
Okay, so just
They're about feelings, not things.
okay.
I will say, just as an offset of this,
Yeah.
you do remember that Hope did use the wand of snowballs on him, and he seemed relatively unfazed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've dinged this guy before.
Yeah.
Like, you've sized him up. He's a legitimate
That's what I
fighter
was saying
character.
before too, is that he also has like some defenses that we don't know about.
Shows that to
100%.
Yeah.
But
There's
we're
a
also,
reason that you're
was
able to
like,
operate a shop like this with adventurers coming in from different lands,
Yeah.
and nobody has fucked with him and killed him yet.
Plus, it's Jordy. I don't think he would have fucking carpet on the wall.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we don't know that.
Oh, I don't know.
But
I'm gonna step outside for a
Les
second.
believes.
I'm outside.
Les steps out, or sorry, Doctor steps out, Leaf steps
I
out.
feel like a leaf probably wouldn't take the risk, honestly.
Hey, Hope, you wanna? Hey, there's a cool bird out here.
Yeah,
Hope, you wanna look at it.
Allura would only take it if we, as a group, felt very confident.
Seems
So
patronizing.
everybody's seeming to step outside. Les,
we'll all
do you
keep
also follow?
This is like Les. He's got the little time decision.
Carl will remember this.
It's the the choice, and there's the red choice.
Les will not remember
No.
this.
No, at this point.
Countdown music plays.
Yeah, with all 5 of the rest of the party stepping out, and you just like staring longingly at the carpet, and then just kind of shuffle off to the
Yeah.
side.
Then Carl turns. Hey, kid, wait. I got something for you.
The door
Look,
closes
door
behind you,
being
the
the
familiar
asshole.
of the locks re-engaging. The door is effectively closed, and the merchant's shop currently closed to you.
Cool. So
But a nice trade made. You do have a few of the pages for the book.
Yep.
That's helpful if you find anything.
Yep, as well as a nice
Well,
upgrade
as well
to
in the castle.
a strength-based character that all of you were very surprised to find out did not have that much strength.
Well,
I know.
I knew it was compensating for something.
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts.
we'll go over this one off stream.
What are you talking? Your strength? Oh, now
Yeah,
it's
just
19.
now.
I was like, it is 19.
So,
Now
Yeah,
it's double.
why haven't you been up in your strength, dude?
because he needed sorcerer.
Oh, so you could use Mage Hand. I forgot.
Exactly. Mage Hand
The
can
one
carry this
reason
through.
you got sorcerer.
So,
Yeah.
Crap.
stepping out from the merchant's shop, you're back in the northern side of Valaki at this point. Give or take about midday. You were inside for maybe the better part of half an hour.
Probably gonna go back and read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Leaf, before you go, maybe we should address the vampiric elephant in the room. What are we doing with the thing? What are we gonna do? What's the plan?
So let's just fast forward this whole conversation and say we fill Leaf in on what happened and
Yeah.
also our like angst about what we should do about Ireena and ask if he has any spiritual guidance
Oh,
for us.
okay.
And my immediate reaction is no.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I mean, I can try casting like greater restoration on her. And that can cure a few things, but quite honestly, that might ping Strahd that we're throwing stuff off if she's in a place that's safe.
I want to relate to the group what Victor's defenses were in terms of the complexity of them, but that in my head still doesn't add up to Strahd being able to get through to her.
Les said that he recognized it wasn't Strahd. Like she wasn't under his control
Oh,
as
sure.
of yet.
Sure.
Right, but he has if we believe what he says to us about the past of her soul, he has a spiritual connection to her intimate, spirit.
That's true. So let's sever it. That's
Agreed.
what
It
she
might-
wants.
It might not even necessarily be him controlling. It might be that Tatiana has a modicum of agency
Yeah.
within Ireena.
But how can we determine that? Is
Hmm.
there anyone that we can glean
Can
whether
I-
that's
I
possible?
was gonna
Hey,
say,
I have a thought. I'm so sorry. No, you.
I was gonna say, can I make like not a religion check? Would that be Arcana or just like a straight wisdom check or something? Just in reference to like, would someone who, the way Allura is describing someone's soul having like an inherent drive towards something? Would that sound like something I've had?
It would be more of, I'm gonna say a religion check.
Okay. Could I roll for that?
Yeah.
Can I assist?
Sure. Also, given your shared backgrounds in that respect, and then with guidance.
Sick. That was a bum roll.
Boo.
Yeah, it was.
That's chill because it's still. What was that? 17.
17. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
In the world that you've grown up in and the world that you've trained in and
Mhm.
all the books that you've read, soul transference is a very, very tiny portion, often mostly spoken about in ancient texts that are no longer applicable to the modern world. The fact of it being a pocket dimension, people trapped inside, souls theoretically trapped inside, maybe, but it's nothing that you would really
Yeah, no, definitive.
have any of that definitive info on.
Fair enough.
Nice.
No, I'm not super sure any of that. So.
What about Madame Ava?
We should. My thought is, if we're riding to Ravenloft, we should check in with her.
Yeah, swing by. She might know a thing or two. She's certainly been here long enough. She told us where to find all this crap.
Well,
Good crap.
she
not
told
bad
us,
crap.
or whatever she was channeling told us. But yes.
Sure.
Gave
But-
us the prophecies that have led our journey through these lands.
So-
I
You
agree,
have
it's
not
probably-
steered us very wrong thus far.
It's probably a good place for us to stop and rest before we sort of make our final leg of the journey.
Yeah.
I hope she's still there.
We didn't say anything, so I hope she is.
And we don't know how much. I'm sorry, Liz, but we don't know if Strahd was able to take any information from you.
Well, Les, you wouldn't give up any information.
I never did during the whole fight. You never asked me anything or didn't talk to me or anything. He literally just says things and then I do them.
It's like most of us.
Yeah.
Shall we, okay, for the rest of the day, what's the thought? I can work on this book a bit.
Yeah, I think that's.
Do we want to just call it a night and kind of prep the ride tomorrow?
I think so.
I mean, I
Is
got
there any-
nothing else.
Is there anywhere else that we need to? Does anyone want to look in at the
You should probably.
Linsky's.
pastor?
The father.
I think we're okay.
What about checking out the remains of the Wachter house? Is anyone interested in that?
Yeah, with the description of it being like a meteor hit in the middle of the night, I wonder if that was Strahd who destroyed evidence.
Doctor, did you do anything?
No.
Can I insight the doctor?
Oh my god, sure. She-
Make a deception check.
Okay. No deception. Okay.
14.
23.
Didn't do anything.
Didn't do it.
Still suspicious.
Didn't do nothing. I don't know.
But can we check to see if it was Strahd?
I mean, we know he's very powerful. It's fine. It was just a suggestion. If we're not really that interested, we don't have to.
Guys, all I'm saying is a big plot of land just opened up. It's perfect for a new
Prime
starter
real
home.
estate.
Prime real estate in the village.
Okay, well, I'll see you
It's
back
free
at the.
real
I'll
estate.
see you back at the Blue Water Inn.
All right, we'll
Sort of
see you there,
wander off
buddy. You
with
go
my-
have fun.
Sort of
Okay.
bump into things. Oh, okay.
Are we comfortable splitting the party?
In the
Yeah, I think we're fine. I don't know if I personally don't feel like I need to RP with any other NPCs at the moment, but
But John, what is John up to? What's he
To-
thinking?
to
Is he
guys.
thinking about it?
I think I would kind of head back towards the Blue Water Inn, but I'm just kind of following behind Leaf, like he's probably not really clear.
Oh, no,
that
he's
I'm
walking down the road reading a book, just like nose down in
Yeah,
it, and
like,
people
I
are
gotta
just
finish
moving
this
out of the
tasty
way of this
morsel.
gigantic
Yeah,
book.
can I just be
So
like kind
sorry.
of apologizing to people on
Sorry.
his behalf?
I
Are
wouldn't
we,
mind taking a swing through the market
Mhm.
area
Get some cured
because there was that person selling gems, right?
Yeah, there was, but you basically cleaned them out the last time
Oh,
we were
did you?
here.
Okay. Nothing new.
are we gonna stop by and talk to Ireena again before we leave, or are we sort of leaving things where they
I
stand?
think she's good where she is. There's nothing more we need to know.
That's fine. I'm just making sure we have group consensus so we don't have to go back today because we're leaving first flight tomorrow.
Is Hope and Leaf out of earshot? Probably.
Yeah, they would be.
I just want to put it to the group, like, what do we do if shit hits the fan?
Shit is going to hit the fan.
No, but I mean like extra hits the fan.
Like with Ireena?
What
Yeah,
do
You mean like if we go to the castle and suddenly she's there?
sure.
then she's there and
Shit.
Then
If
what do
she's
we
there
do?
and she's on Strahd's side, she gets an arrow in the neck
Gonna
like
go
everyone
down.
else.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure we're all on the same page.
yep.
Absolutely.
Just making sure.
I think we plead to her quickly, but if she's stated
she's-
where she is, if she's not being held there captive, if she's there of her own volition, arrow on the neck.
If Tatiana is at Strahd's side, she's going down just like he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page and ready to face the consequences of such if we need to.
I think, I don't want to speak for them, but I think Hope would maybe feel differently if it turned out that Ireena was against us and trying to defeat us. But I don't think we should necessarily explore all those options and have all those conversations. I think we just
Okay.
wait and see what happens.
No, I just wanted to make sure, just in case. Ravenloft's got a good selling price.
That's right.
Flip it. It's like 20 bedrooms, 4 bath.
I can't wait to find out
Just for
all
back
those
to
shit
20
that's
bedrooms?
Well, you know, it's
It's
medieval.
wild.
Can you imagine all the things that guy has accumulated over the centuries? I'm gonna get me a new bowstring, that's for sure.
It is
That's
free real estate.
It's literally free real estate.
I mean, I
Just,
just won't feel bad about robbing him.
Just a pest problem.
I
That's
shall
all.
not.
And not Carl.
You sure you don't want to go back there, buddy? You can't.
I'm pretty sure if we go back to Carl with Strahd's head, he'll give us that fucking carpet on.
I don't think so, because like that's kind of his source of income. Anyway, not the point. Neither here nor there. We don't need to talk about the economics of Valaki.
So,
Let's not guess.
making your way back to the inn, I'm assuming. Nothing else transpired.
Oh, is the drinking champion around.
So it's still mid-afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So not
Still.
quite. Still mid-afternoon. You've been gone and you've done a fair bit in a short amount of time. It's a little opposite to what you normally do. But you eventually do make your way back. Leaf kind of stumbling through the door first.
I definitely hit my head on the way in.
You would hit your head on the top of the door.
I picture Leaf like walking into a column and is like, "Excuse me, ma'am." With his face in the book, and then
I'm
just
so...
keep-
But you do thud your head against it, and it kind of like lifts your head up from the book, and you see Danica standing behind the bar, and you see 6 cloaked figures inside, wearing the familiar cloaks of the Order of the Feather.
Yeah.
Keepers of the Feather.
Do I
Sorry,
walk
Keepers
in
of the Feather. Keepers of
as
the
well to this now?
Yeah, you would be walking behind, apologizing for everybody. You'd see Leaf hit his head, and you just, oh shit! And then you kind of look over his shoulder, and you see the Keepers of the Feather cloaks. And a few people seated at different tables. And Leaf, you walk in, you kind of pay attention, and all of them just kind of nod at you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of wave at them. And then immediately go back to my book.
Is there any kind of... Would I...
A moment,
understand?
if we could have
Oh, for sure.
of your time.
Do I come up to them as well, or do I just like
They're
linger
sitting in
over
the main area.
Yeah.
The rest of you are lagging behind a little bit.
So yeah, I kind of walk over.
So it's the two of you, and just kind of the sacrifices that you have made have been noticed. The deeds that you have done, equally so. Word has spread. You go to fight the devil?
We do.
And we shall be your eyes.
We appreciate that.
Where's the rest of... And then at that point you hear the cling, the door opening, and the rest
I
of you...
swear I was this
Opening
close.
it.
Oh, hi.
And Danica just kind of looks at everybody and just kind of does a quick count. Vanishes behind the bar for a minute. He comes back out. All of you just take seats. Drinks are poured. She comes back out and distributes a small vial to each of you. Standard health potion.
Wow! I'm so excited!
No, that was cool. Shot.
Just a
Let's
regular
do them now.
healing potion.
Yep, so one regular healing potion.
I haven't had one in
most-
so long.
I feel like that's the
chosen
most
for
we've
one of these.
cheered in so long.
Like it was an RP heavy.
Yeah, because I haven't done it since wearing the bloody skull. I think I gave my healing potion to Les when he
Oh,
got
he
it.
jumped
Oh, yeah.
Leaf, you also see one of the men in the corner. Cloak was up, and he removes the cloak, and you see Dom.
Hey, family.
I tipped my cap.
Do you wear a cap?
It's good to see all of you again.
No, I won't hit me.
There isn't that person that fancied you there. Is
How's
there?
Paul Walker?
One of the many useful features of ravens is their ability to find interesting things. A few additionals for you. So thank you for everything that you've done. And Leaf, and he tosses a small gray bag onto the table in front of you.
Yeah.
And opening it up, you just see a series of beads inside it.
Bees?
Beads.
The bees.
But they're fuzzy and brown. And he just kind of
Not where I was going with it, but I'm gonna
preventing the need for you to have to put this into your book. These allow you to call upon nature. A randomness is assigned to it, but there is some use to this in a tight spot, requiring a small ally at times or a very large ally at others.
Animal friends?
Use this wisely.
I appreciate that.
And he passes over this.
Fun.
Oh!
And to go with this,
Oh my goodness.
you're also going to need these.
Let's go, gang.
You're a Pokemon trainer now? What's going
know
on?
it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, straight up.
For the rest of you, Danica, and she just kind of comes around and...
Shit.
Yes, it has been an interesting journey, seeing all of you coming in here. Not the best at communication.
No.
Perhaps this will assist you.
Oh,
And she
Jordy,
brings out
Jordy
two small
Rose.
rocks. that
Oh,
you-
Oh my god!
What are they?
So,
Oh!
are those the ones that got
So the one that you were given before was Lady Wachter.
Wachter, right?
She destroyed her other half, so the stones became useless.
Right.
This is another set paired of sending stones.
Guys, we got a Rocky Talkie.
So,
How long have you been sitting on that?
I've been sitting on it a while.
Yeah.
That's why I was up all night
so
last
the
night.
sending stones allowing you to send messages
Oh
to
my
each
God.
other.
To avoid medicating.
Yeah, no more
Yeah.
talk. We got talk.
However, the gray bag of tricks is the more interesting one.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Would you like to go ahead and read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
cool. Although
this-
you didn't put how many are there?
How many
Oh,
goals?
yeah,
You'll read it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Do you want to
okay,
read
yeah.
it aloud for everyone? Is that what's
Okay,
happening?
yeah. This ordinary bag, made from gray cloth, weighs half a pound and appears empty. Reaching inside the bag, however, reveals the presence of a small, fuzzy brown object. You can use an action to pull the fuzzy object from the bag and throw it up to 20 feet. When it lands, it transforms into a creature determined by rolling a d8 and
I
comparing the
choose you.
result to the following list. 1 weasel, 2 giant rat, 3 badger, 4 boar, 5 panther, 6 giant badger, 7 direwolf, and 8 giant elk. The creature it transforms into is friendly to you and your companions and acts on your turn. You can use a bonus action to command how the creature moves and what action it takes on its turn, or to give it general orders such as to attack your enemies. In the absence of such orders, the creature acts in a fashion appropriate to its nature. Once 3 fuzzy objects have been pulled from the bag, it can't be used again until the next dawn.
Cool.
So just to
That's
put in
awesome.
perspective here, giant elk. If you go ahead and read
Yeah.
the attack for giant elk,
Yeah, it's
bottom.
that's a +6 to hit, a 2d6 +4 bludgeoning damage.
Oh no, and there's more.
Oh shit. Oh my god, +6, 48. Got them hooves!
Whoa.
5 foot reach. Oh baby.
That's a lot of damage.
What noises do dogs make?
This is exciting.
Oh, elf.
Consult Frozen.
Cool.
So
That's
Those are
rather
reindeer.
interesting assortment of things clearly
Yes.
picked up from around the ages, and a potential belief that this may actually have some fruition.
Sure.
So that's going to be where we wrap things up this evening.
Yay.
With the evening for the drinking to partake at the beginning of next session.
Yeah.
Not the night before battle.
No, let's let it happen.
It's not going to be battle yet.
Gird your loins.
So, sorry, where am I
Many
at
other
with reading?
So with reading, you would have been able to complete another 8 hours today. So you're down to 6 remaining hours.
Yeah.
So close.
So close.
Wait.
Does Dom consider us family now?
Amelia.
No.
No.
None of you are were-ravens.
You know what? It's fine.
But the
fine.
evening will be where we pick things up next session. We are off next week.
Yes, we are.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're taking the week off for a couple of players taking some time to themselves. So we're going to be back the following week for the final wrap-up in Vallaki, and then the first potential day travels to Castle Ravenloft.
Oh my
Tell
god.
us,
It's
Jordy,
happening.
Are you excited to be done with Barovia?
One way or another, we're done with Barovia.
So
TPK.
So
I
happy
feel
about
like
it.
I've never had a TPK, so I don't know.
I mean, either way,
If we had fought, if we had fought
potion.
Carl, we would have had a
You
TPK.
don't know that.
You had fought Carl, and then everyone went, hey, I wonder what happened with Les. And then one person went in, and then another person went in, and then another person went in. Maybe.
We'll distribute this
6
ending
on
soon.
1. I mean, he's not
Next time, y'all.
Strahd. Right?
No.
Like,
Noted. No.
But I feel like his place would be like booby trap. Be like, we're gonna take you out
Oh,
and take
he
your
really
stuff. And
goes
it's like,
Yeah, it would have been like
just like
Esmeralda's.
giant attack spells just coming out the
Down,
walls.
you big
No.
horse's ass.
think Last Crusade.
Oh, see, I think Home Alone.
Penitent man kneels before God. Just the blades flying across the room.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you wouldn't, knowing you wouldn't put something so fucking valuable out in the open, and else it was incredibly hard to fucking take.
You don't know.
All right.
None of
So,
you were able to figure
Just
out.
gonna
So
No one's saying
Pop
that
it
we
off
can't
the
go
wall.
back there after we murder
Nick
Strahd.
Cage.
that's the thing, right? Is
Expression.
if you murder Strahd and you get brought back to the real world, hey, maybe then he understands what those coins are worth.
Yeah,
So
We have a lot.
you do.
especially
So-
if I tell him that and keep his word.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching
Yes.
tonight. Really appreciate
Yeah.
it. Awesome viewership in the chat. Thank you again so much. And just awesome, as always. Big shout out, Graham. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So many
thanks
comments.
for joining.
Yay, thanks for joining. Yeah, and Okay.
Oh, what you?
Just touching your lips there.
It's
Purity,
my-
you are getting.
Okay.
What is it
You
from?
are. I
It's
feel
from
like
one-
we're
one-
being
one
a bad
punch.
influence
Oh,
on
okay.
you.
Yeah. It's just this whole thing. It's
Broken swords,
Why not?
pinching nips.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's how we do.
Keep it real.
Okay.
How we do.
Okay.
Real sexy.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys back here in 2 weeks. Bye.
Woo!